Chapter 2689. I will definitely make you talk. Tao Zhu's eyes flashed with savagery. He only had one thought now, and that was to let this woman, who wanted to go against him, know what it was like to offend him. Then bring it on. Don't forget that I'm someone who isn't even afraid of death. Tao Yinan said, Do you think I'll be afraid of anything else? I have all the time in the world to torture you starting from your toes. Tao Zhu said, Let's wait and see how long you can last. Tao Yinan made up her mind. If she wanted to achieve her goal, she would have to pay a price. She knew this very well. She was completely prepared and knew that she had no way out. This was the only chance she could seize. Tao Zhu left Tao Yinan's room and didn't close the door. 2 minutes later, Shi Jiao and another tall man walked in. Shi Jiao didn't say anything. He took out his electric shock equipment and pressed it on Tao Yinan's neck. There was an ear-piercing sound of electric shock. Tao Yinan's body trembled and she fainted. Shi Jiao put away the electric shock equipment. The tall man directly carried Tao Yinan on his shoulder and walked out of the room. 2 days seemed very short, but to Tao Yinan, it was very long. She had never experienced anything like this before. She had never thought that the clay figurine would use such a cruel method to torture her. It was a very simple and high-tech method of torture. This machine was developed by a few perverted scientists in Japan. The original intention of developing this machine was to punish criminals. However, because this thing was too against humanity and too cruel, it wasn't promoted. Instead, it was completely banned. The Tao family found a way to get this machine to punish the Tao family members who made mistakes. This high-tech machine was very special. It only needed to be connected to a person's head. After injecting a sedative, the person being punished would fall into their own painful fantasies. The person who entered the fantasies with the machine would feel 10 days of punishment and torture in 1 minute. Every day was painful torture. All kinds of cruel tortures that one could imagine would be triggered by the machine. The person being punished would feel real pain. What was even more infuriating was that the 10 days of pain that the person being punished felt was only a short minute in reality. If this thing was carried around for an hour, it would be 6 days of torment for the person being punished. 1 day of torture was equivalent to more than 14,400 days of torture. That was nearly 40 years of torture. As for Tao Yinan, she had been tortured for 2 days by the pottery sculpture with this high-tech punishment device, and she had to endure a total of 80 years of pain. It was really 80 years of pain in her fantasy world. Every inch of her skin had been torn apart in her fantasy. Every time, she would die because it was too painful. Dying in the fantasy was the same as waking up in reality. Every time she woke up, only a minute had passed, and Tao Zhu would inject her with a tranquilizer again, sending her into the torment of pain. She had endured all the pain that could be imagined in the world. The moment Tao Yinan removed the device from her head, Tao Yinan was on the verge of breaking down. The Tao family had used this device to punish people before. Those who had committed unforgivable mistakes in the family would be tortured like this. Just an hour of punishment was enough to make the person sink into this immense pain for the rest of their life. Moreover, Tao Yinan had been punished for 2 whole days. How is it? Do you feel better now? Tao Zhu stood in front of Tao Yinan with a smile. You have to experience 10 days of pain in 1 minute. You have to experience death once in 1 minute. How many times have you experienced death? Isn't it very satisfying? Tao Yinan looked at Tao Zhu on the verge of death. You are really too vicious. I'm not vicious. You force me. Tao Zhu grabbed Tao Yinan. You are my sister. How could I bear to torture you like this? But you forced me. I had no choice. Tao Yinan's lips trembled. The pain was still vivid in her mind. Even though she had left the fantasy world, she could still feel the pain. I had no choice. Yinan, I really had no choice. Tao Zhu said. Tell me Zhang Hong's car plate number now. I will definitely give you a quick death. Tao Yinan opened her mouth a few times but no words came out. Tao Zhu glared and said to Shi Jiao. Quick! Get her some water. Tao Yinan said with a trembling voice. What if I still don't say it? Tao Zhu's face turned black. When Shi Jiao passed the water over, Tao Zhu spilled it on the ground. Tao Yinan, I'm warning you. I don't have the patience to play with you anymore. Tao Zhu's voice sounded like it came from hell to Tao Yinan. Tao Yinan didn't say anything. She looked at Tao Zhu with a helpless gaze, as if waiting for an answer. Tao Zhu glared at Tao Yinan with hatred. This is the last time I ask you. If you don't say it, I will wear this thing on your head for the rest of your life. Even if you die, even if you are buried in a coffin, I will let you die with this thing. This kind of hatred shouldn't appear on a biological brother and sister. Tao Yinan, a scheming woman, couldn't help but shed a tear after hearing Tao Zhu's last words. She didn't think that she would shed tears because of Tao Zhu's words, even if Tao Zhu had tortured her to this state for the past 2 days. Brother, you will really do that? Tao Yinan said. I believe you will. Then you're really sorry that I've always called you brother. Tao Zhu waved his fist impatiently. Don't talk nonsense with me. I want the car plate number. And the place where he appears every day. Let me be the vice president of the board of directors and tell everyone in the Tao family. Tao Yinan actually said such words at this moment. Tao Zhu was completely shocked by her. Good. Very good. Since she wanted to be the vice president of the board of directors so much, then he would fulfill her wish. Tao Zhu directly dialed the family's number in front of Tao Yinan and quickly arranged the matter. Everything was settled in an orderly manner. Are you satisfied now? Tao Zhu said. I really admire you, Yinan. You really made me look at you in a new light. I lost to you. Is that okay? Tao Yinan finally relented. Luger B99. Black Qian. When Tao Yinan finally said the car plate number, the big stone hanging in Tao Zhu's heart finally fell down. After so many days, he didn't waste his life in vain. Where does he go every day? Tao Zhu said. Tell me, and I will make your following life beautiful. Tao Yinan said coldly. He goes to the sharp beach every evening. Tao Zhu had been in Guqin Island for so many days, and had carefully studied the map of Guqin Island. Although the sharp beach was a good place, it was remote. Because of the strong wind and waves, almost no one went there. Because of the traffic, that place wasn't a place where normal people would go. Why does he go to the sharp beach? Tao Zhu didn't believe it. Tao Yinan shook her head weakly. I don't know. Tao Zhu frowned. If Jiang Hong really went to the sharp beach every evening, it was really a good place for him to ambush and kill him. After killing him, he could directly throw him into the sea without leaving any trace. Wasn't this too convenient for him? I only know this. Tao Yinan said. Tao Zhu smiled slightly. Your information is not worthy of a vice president of the board of directors. Tao Yinan's lips curled into a smile. But I still got it, right? You got it, but I don't know if you have the life to do it. Tao Zhu said. Yinan, don't blame your brother for being ruthless. You are too amazing. After enduring 2 days of endless torture, you can still talk to me. You are too scary. Tao Yinan frowned. What do you mean? Nothing. Tao Zhu shook his head. I just hope that you can go well. Don't blame your brother for doing this to you. You forced me. Chapter 2690. Tao Zhu got up and left. Just as Tao Yinan was still in shock, Shi Jiao came to her again. Miss Tao, I'm sorry. Shi Jiao said. Everything was young Master Tao's idea. As a subordinate, I can only follow orders. I hope you don't blame me. What do you want to do to me? Tao Yinan's heart jumped to her throat. She suddenly realized that she might have miscalculated. All these happened in the past 2 days. Tao Yinan let herself be tortured so miserably. It was all because she wanted Tao Zhu to believe her when he got the license plate number. So she had to endure all this pain. If she couldn't even endure this pain, how could Tao Zhu believe her? How could she be sure that if she told Tao Zhu Su Yun's license plate number, Tao Zhu would believe that Su Yun was Zhang Hong? With Tao Zhu's suspicious personality, he would definitely be suspicious. Once he was suspicious, it would be easy for him to figure things out. Tao Yinan couldn't let Tao Zhu become suspicious, so she had to find a way to guide Tao Zhu to torture her. After she was tortured, Tao Zhu wouldn't be suspicious of what she said. In this way, her plan would succeed. This idea was perfect. But Tao Yinan didn't expect Tao Zhu to trust her too much. So after he got the information, he arranged for people to make a move on her. She knew very well what Shi Jiao meant by telling her all this. You also know that you are a servant. If you dare to do this, you will be punished more severely. Tao Yinan said, You better not do anything stupid. Miss Tao, if I don't do this, I will be punished by young Master Tao. Shi Jiao said, And if I do this, there won't be any problems between us. So I can only wrong Miss Tao. Tao Yinan was really panicking now. She didn't think that her plan would end up like this. Tao Zhu actually made a move on her immediately after he got the valuable information. She completely underestimated Tao Zhu's hatred for her. She completely underestimated Tao Zhu's anger towards her. You better not do anything excessive. I'm warning you. You still need me. I still have a lot to say to Tao Zhu. Without me, you will never be able to find the real Zhang Hong. Tao Yinan felt an unprecedented fear from the bottom of her heart. Unfortunately, Shi Jiao didn't listen to her at all. He only had one thing to do, and that was to deal with the work in his hands. He would only be able to give Tao Zhu a perfect answer after the work was done. Shi Jiao didn't give Tao Yinan a chance to explain. She grabbed her, took out a rope, and tied Tao Yinan's hands behind her back. This kind of rope was specially used to bind the hands. The more one struggled, the tighter it became. Tao Yinan's attempts to resist were futile. In the past 2 days, the mental torture that Tao Yinan had suffered made her completely unable to summon her own true qi, so she was almost like an ordinary person. In the blink of an eye, she was controlled by Shi Jiao. Shi Jiao suddenly took out the sealing tape and wrapped it around Tao Yinan's mouth twice. Woo woo woo. Tao Yinan tried her best, but that was all she could make. Shi Jiao couldn't bear to see Tao Yinan like this. After all, she was the daughter of the Tao family. Miss Tao, I'm sorry. I had no choice. Shi Jiao's rationality finally prevailed over his emotions. He didn't dare to go against Tao Zhu's orders. After all, Tao Zhu was the future leader of the Tao family. If they couldn't satisfy the master's orders, then there was no need to talk about anything else. This was his professional ethics. The boss paid him, so he had to do whatever he was told to do. Even if it was against ethics, even if it was against reason, he had to do it cleanly. Shi Jiao took Tao Yinan to the car and threw her directly into the trunk. He started the car and quickly drove to a remote coast in Beijiao. After parking the car, Shi Jiao pulled Tao Yinan out of the car. Seeing this scene, Tao Yinan was stunned. She already understood what Shi Jiao wanted to do. Miss Tao, according to Master Tao's intention, he wants me to throw you into the sea. Shi Jiao said, but that's really too cruel for you. Tao Yinan shook her head crazily, but she couldn't say a word. Furthermore, even if she could make a sound, so what? There was no one in this remote place where even birds wouldn't shit. Shi Jiao didn't dare to let her go. He wouldn't have brought her to this place. Shi Jiao took a deep breath. You shouldn't have asked for the vice president position from him. This made him feel a strong threat. So, even if he loses, he doesn't want you to win. There's only one way to solve the problem, which is to first. Tao Zhu Tao Zhu. You've been king coward since you were young. You still can't afford to lose. Tao Yinan cursed in her heart. Why didn't she consider this situation earlier? It was normal for people like Tao Zhu to do this kind of thing. He couldn't afford to lose since he was young. He was a coward since he was young. Why didn't she consider these factors? If Tao Yinan could consider these things earlier, the current situation wouldn't have happened. Damn it, the final plan had been so meticulous, but she had neglected the most important thing. The opponent she was facing was someone who didn't dare to gamble with her. He knew from the bottom of his heart that he wasn't her opponent. So, as long as Tao Yinan didn't die, he wouldn't be at ease to do this. Suddenly, Tao Yinan calmed down. All her plans were in vain. She didn't expect that she, who was supposed to be the biggest winner, would be dealt with first because the opponent was a coward who couldn't afford to lose. If she died, then so be it. She couldn't do anything. Shi Jiao tore the tape off her mouth. Miss Tao, what else do you want to say? This is the only thing I can help you pass on. Then give me a quick death. Tao Yinan sneered at Shi Jiao. Do you really think that you can solve the problem without me? Shi Jiao shook his head. These are not problems I care about. I only have one task. Tao Yinan closed her eyes. Shi Jiao did want to give Tao Yinan a quick death, but when he wanted to do it, he didn't dare to do so. Because that would violate Tao Jiao's request. Tao Jiao wanted her to sink to the bottom of the sea and choke to death, drown to death, and suffocate to death. Because he felt that that would reduce the anger in his heart. Once he knew that he gave Tao Yinan a quick death, what would he face? This was something that Shi Jiao didn't dare to think about. In the end, Shi Jiao followed his master's instructions. He brought Tao Yinan onto the prepared speedboat. After driving into the deep sea, he tied her to a rock. Tao Yinan's heart was like a rock, cold and icy. With the current level of the seawater, even if she didn't sink to the bottom of the sea, her chances of survival weren't high. This time, she was really dead. There was no chance at all. Miss Tao, I'm sorry. Shi Jiao flipped Tao Yinan into the cold sea water. The bone-piercing coldness almost made Tao Yinan cry out. But when she opened her mouth, the salty sea water poured into it. Almost in an instant, Tao Yinan lost her consciousness. It was really painful. Shi Jiao couldn't bear to stay in this place any longer. After sinking Tao Yinan into the sea, he used the fastest time to rush back to the shore. Then, he set fire to the speedboat and quickly drove away. He had to report back to his master. He also had to pass Tao Yinan's last words to Tao Jiao. Although Shi Jiao didn't think that the problem couldn't be solved without Tao Yinan, he still felt that it was necessary to tell Tao Jiao's words. Tao Jiao was his master. Everything he did had to be for Tao Jiao's sake. Tao Yinan's last words were full of thought-provoking meaning. He really wanted to know if there was any special meaning behind Tao Yinan's last words. But these weren't questions that he should consider. These were questions that Tao Jiao should consider. Chapter 2691. In the evening, Su Yun came to the sharp beach again. The last message Tao Yinan gave him was, "Evening, sharp beach." After that, Tao Yinan, who realized that she was in danger, destroyed the SIM card. After that, Su Yun did not contact her again. Su Yun seemed to realize something, but he could not explain it clearly. Whether Tao Yinan was still on Qingdao or whether Tao Yinan was safe, Su Yun had no way of knowing these things. However, the only thing Su Yun knew was the importance of this message. This message was the only clue he could use to solve Tao Jiao's threat. The sharp beach was a place where few people lived. Especially in this winter season, the wind and waves were very strong. The sea breeze was like a knife, cutting people's faces painfully. In the evening, the wind and waves were the strongest. Even Su Yun would feel uncomfortable if he stayed here for a while. In the winter, the sun always clocked out early. It was already dark at 6 o'clock in the evening. It was another evening. Su Yun still did not see anything unusual on the sharp beach. What was Tao Yinan trying to say? Su Yun still could not figure it out. After sunset, it was no longer evening. Su Yun got into the car and left. On the way back, 2 cars appeared one after another behind him. Lin Guo and Zhang Hong were in one car. The other car was driven by Jie Yi. The 3 cars rushed back to their home in Zhou-de-Guan. After Lin Guo got out of the car, he hurried to Su Yun's side. "Brother, do you think that Tao Yinan is playing with us again?" She just sent a message and did not do anything. It's been 3 days. We have to go to the sharp beach at 4 o'clock every day and wait for 2 hours like an idiot. You didn't find anything, and the few of us did not find anything either. Su-yun shook his head helplessly. He did not know what Tao Yinan was trying to do. I think if it doesn't work, I'll send the fried chicken again. Lin Gu said, at least give her some pressure. You'd better not act rashly. Su-yun said, if anything goes wrong before we get in touch with Tao Yinan, it won't be a small matter. Zhang Hong agreed with Su-yun's point of view. That's right. After all, Tao Su brought 6 experts with him this time. We really can't afford any mistakes. I'll go. Jie Wen also stopped his car and walked over. I'll think of a way to check out the hotel tonight. It's just as dangerous if you go, Zhang Hong said. Jie Su's face was expressionless. He ignored Zhang Hong and said to Su-yun, you know what I used to do. I'm used to doing things like this. I'll try to be careful. Su-yun frowned. At this time, it was too risky to send someone to scout the situation. However, if they didn't have the initiative in some matters, they would be particularly passive. It was indeed time for someone to scout the situation. Isn't it the same if I go? Lin Gu said, I'll be careful too. He really didn't feel comfortable letting someone else do this. However, Jie Wen said, you've already gone once with the excuse of delivering fried chicken. Some of them have seen you. If they have any memory of you, you'll be in danger. There are so many people going in and out of the Ocean Intercontinental Hotel every day. Who would have such a good memory? Lin Gu said. There are so many people going in and out of the hotel every day. However, I'm afraid only a few have interacted with them. Jie Wen was also thinking for Lin Gu. Su-yun thought about it. Lin Gu really couldn't appear there anymore. I'll go there personally. Absolutely not. The other 3 said in unison. They were all too clear that Su-yun was their core, their leader. If Su-yun were to go, what would happen if there was any danger? Then they would be like a group of dragons without a leader. If that happened, they would have a hard time dealing with the other party in the future. I definitely won't agree to let you take this risk. Zhang Hong said, this is my own matter. I can't trouble others. Even if someone has to go, it should be me. Are you stupid? They're here for you. If you go to them yourself, then everything we've done will be in vain. Lin Gu rejected him. Jie Wen raised his voice. I'm more suitable than any of you to go. He was very determined. He didn't give anyone the chance to deny him. While they were silent, Jie Wen said, Su-yun, you can't put yourself in danger so easily. Lin Gu, you've been exposed as a target before. You're the most unsuitable candidate. And you're their target. If anything happens, you'll have no choice. Therefore, I'm the most suitable candidate. Su-yun looked at Jie Wen seriously and said, why can't I put myself in danger, but you can? Because you're someone I'll protect with my life, Jie Wen said. During the short time Chong Mo and the others had spent with Jie Wen on Qingdao, they talked a lot. They talked about the Dragon Brigade and the things that Su-yun and the others had done. Su-yun had done too many things. Chong Mo and the others only knew about some of these things from their brothers in the Dragon Fury team. To be honest, Jie Wen had never admired anyone in his life. But after hearing about some of the things that Su-yun had done, he was completely convinced by Su-yun. That kind of admiration came from the bottom of his heart. He didn't expect Su-yun to be such a person who had contributed so much to the country and mankind. There were some things that Jie Wen didn't even dare to think about in his life. Su-yun's anti-terrorist operations had saved countless lives and the country's wealth. These were all uncountable numbers. However, Su-yun didn't see these as merits at all. He only saw them as something that he should do. Jie Wen's admiration for this couldn't be described with words. Therefore, the admiration he had for Su-yun could not be expressed with any of his previous feelings. Chong Mo and the others had also told him that if he could do it, he would definitely help them protect Su-yun. Jie Wen had lived for someone who had lied to them. This time, He wanted to live for someone who was worthy of his protection. I promised Chong Mo that unless I die, I won't let any harm come to you. Jie said, because of this, because I can't break my promise to Chong Mo and the others, I won't let you take this risk. Without waiting for Su Yun to speak, Jie said, there's another reason. You're the only person I've ever met in my life that I'm convinced of. Jie Su's words had already left no room for negotiation. Lin Guo was quite shocked by this. He had never trusted Jie hypocrite completely all this while. After hearing Jie Wen's words, Lin Guo was convinced as well. All his prejudices against Jie Wen were gone. You left Heaven's Eye to live for yourself, Su Yun smiled. Why do you have to live for me? Haha, it's not worth it. It's worth it, Jie Wen said. If I think it's worth it, then it's worth it. Brother, Lin Guo said. From now on, you're Lin Ji's brother. Jie Wen glanced at Lin Guo. Then you should call me brother. Lin Guo was stunned. He couldn't help but laugh bitterly. All right, I'll call you whatever you want me to call you. Your words just now hit the nail on the head. There aren't many people I admire in my life, but Brother Yun is the one I admire the most. Then you followed the right person, Jie Wen said. They didn't give Su Yun a chance to speak. After confirming that Jie Wen would go to the hotel to scout the situation, Su Yun had no choice but to agree to this operation. They had to be clear about the other party's every move. I don't care if you can get anything of value, but you have to promise me one thing, Su Yun said to Jie Wen, safety first. Jie Wen smiled, don't worry, I understand. If I can't even guarantee my safety, how can I help you? How can I fulfill my promise to Chong Ma and the others? Su Yun patted Jie Wen's shoulder. At this moment, he really treated Jie Wen as his brother. That layer of unexplainable estrangement between all of them had completely disappeared. Everything vanished into thin air. Let's go, let's hurry back to the house. Lin Guo said, Sister Qing Shuang and the others must be waiting for us to eat. She's worried about us going to the beach every day. Let's not chat here. When the four of them returned to the house, they could already smell the aroma of food. Hearing their return, Ruan Qingxuang and the others who were busy in the kitchen quickly came out. Seeing that Su Yun was safe and sound, Ruan Qingxuang's expression finally relaxed again. Chapter 2692. You've been there for 3 days, and you still haven't found anything? Zhuo Meiyan walked out of the kitchen with a freshly steamed pomfret in her hand. The others shook their heads helplessly. Su Yun smiled bitterly and replied, Yeah, we haven't found anything yet. Bai Xiaoye also started serving the dishes. Then you shouldn't go anymore. It's too obvious. It's a trap. I think so too, but... Lin Guo frowned. We don't have any other clues so far. It doesn't matter if it's a trap. You should be careful. Ruan Qingxuang didn't have any other requests. She only wanted them to be safe. Jeff Aker said, I'll go check it out tonight. If it's really a trap, we won't go again. Are you sure you're not being followed? Cho Yun asked with concern. Su Yun shook his head. He was very careful about this. Zhang Zixue came downstairs. When she saw them, she anxiously wanted an answer. How is it? There's still nothing. Zhang Hong nodded helplessly. They still didn't find anything. Why is it like this? Zhang Zixue said, Then what should we do to solve this problem completely? Facing Zhang Zixue's question, no one could answer it. Bai Xiaoye went up and patted Zhang Zixue's shoulder. All right, let's eat first. Don't think too much. This is something you can't control. If this continues, when will it end? Zhang Zixue said, I've had enough of this life. I don't want to continue like this. Zhang Zixue's words made Zhang Hong very uncomfortable. He felt that it was all because he didn't do a good enough job. That was why the problem couldn't be solved perfectly. However, there was nothing he could do. He also wanted to solve the problem as soon as possible. However, he was powerless. It wasn't as simple as just saying that he could solve it. Su Yun was also a little apologetic. After all, he was the one who trusted Tao Yinan. He would feel bad if it was just a waste of time. I'm sorry, Zixue. We'll do our best to solve this problem for you. Su Yun said. Don't worry. Zhang Zixue shook her head helplessly. I can't be at ease just because I say so. You guys always tell me not to worry, but I really don't have a solution. When will this problem be solved? Are you done? Zhua Meiyan suddenly interrupted Zhang Zixue. From Zhua Meiyan's expression and tone, it was clear that she was extremely angry. It was normal for Zhua Meiyan to be angry. Regarding Zhang Zixue's matter, Su Yun had already gone all out. But Zhang Zixue actually spoke to Su Yun with that kind of attitude. Su Yun apologizing to her was just being polite, but Zhang Zixue actually accepted it? After Zhang Zixue's at least, Zhua Meiyan didn't like Zhang Zixue's attitude. Of course, after she regained her memories, she would need some time to adapt. However, during this time, she had everyone's comfort, by Xiaoye's company, and Su Yun's help to solve her problems. What was there for her to be unsatisfied with? She didn't understand what Zhua Meiyan meant at all. Zhua Meiyan couldn't accept this. After all, they weren't the Zhang family servants. Why are you still pretending to be a young miss when you're already down and out? What's wrong with the young miss? Zhua Meiyan's words clearly shocked Zhang Zixue. Zhang Zixue originally wanted to open her mouth to explain, but when the words reached her mouth, she couldn't say anything. No one had ever lied to her like this. Zhua Meiyan's loud voice made it difficult for her to accept. Although Zhang Zixue didn't say anything, Zhua Meiyan's anger didn't dissipate. Su Yun quickly signaled Ruan Qingxuang with his eyes to calm Zhua Meiyan down. Perhaps only Ruan Qingxuang could calm Zhua Meiyan's anger. Alright, let's not be like this. It'll hurt our friendship. Ruan Qingxuang walked to Zhua Meiyan's side. Let's go to the kitchen and help me. I'm not going. Zhua Meiyan was still angry. How could she be persuaded so easily? We're all executives of Sky Entertainment Corporation, aren't we? If Sky Entertainment Corporation leaves any one of us, it'll be like half the sky collapsing. We already have enough work to do every day, but we still have to serve this young miss. Why? Before Ruan Qingxuang could stop her, Zhua Meiyan continued, what did she do? After that day, she didn't even enter the kitchen. Zhua Meiyan didn't care anymore. Her words were really unpleasant. Even if she put it that way, Zhang Zixue couldn't refute it. To be honest, she really didn't do anything. During this period of time, she felt like she was a walking corpse. Alright, stop talking. Ruan Qingxuang quickly stopped Zhua Meiyan and tried to pull her to the side. Bai Xiaoye also went forward to comfort her. Sister Meiyan, she didn't do it on purpose. Calm down. Give her some time. I can give her as much time as she wants. She can treat this place as her own home. Zhua Meiyan said, as long as it's someone Su Yun needs to take care of, I'll do it without hesitation. I believe all of you are the same. But what about her? We can give her time, but why can't she give us time? Why can't she give Su Yun time? These words were exposed by Zhua Meiyan. Zhua Meiyan really couldn't bear to see Zhang Zixue talk to Su Yun and the others in that tone. Ever since that incident, they had been so cautious every day. Su Yun had been suppressing his emotions for a long time because of the Zhang family, but he never showed it for Zhang Zixue. Why did Zhang Zixue have such an attitude? When would the problem be solved? Why must Su Yun solve the Zhang family's problems? Zhua Meiyan became angrier as she spoke. Zhang Zixue was speechless. She lowered her head completely. Zhang Zixue was at a loss. She didn't know how to continue staying here. She was restless and fearful. That was the only feeling she had right now. All right. Su Yun knew that if this continued, it would affect everyone's mood. He went forward and pressed Zhua Meiyan down on a chair. Everyone is under pressure. It'll be fine if we can understand each other. I'm just stating a fact. Zhua Meiyan said, I just want her to know that she used to be the Jiang family's young miss, but not anymore. She needs to see it clearly. Jiang Zixue knew that Zhuo Meiyan was right. She was no longer the Jiang family's young miss. The Jiang family was gone. Why did she still have to throw a tantrum and put on airs? She was living under someone else's roof. What right did she have to treat others with such an attitude? Everyone present treated her very well. She owed each and every one of them. What right did she have to talk about conditions with them? She had no right to question others. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Jiang Zixue lowered her head. Her voice was very soft. I've caused trouble for everyone. Don't be so polite, Su Yun said. He then looked at Jiang Hong. Take her over there and have a good talk. Jiang Hong nodded. No, I can't stay here any longer. Jiang Zixue said. I've caused enough trouble for all of you. I'm serious. I don't mean anything else. I just feel that I shouldn't stay here and cause trouble for all of you. Thank you for taking care of me all this time. Zhuo Meiyan felt even more uncomfortable when she saw that Jiang Zixue was about to leave. Fortunately, Su Yun was beside her to help her suppress her anger. Zixue. Jiang Hong was stunned. He didn't know what to say. He knew that Zhuo Meiyan was right, but if Jiang Zixue wanted to leave, he would leave with her. He couldn't let her take the risk alone. Bai Xiaoye glared at Jiang Zixue. Are you done? Now is not the time for you to throw a tantrum. Take back what you said just now and stay here obediently. But I'm useless here, Jiang Zixue said. I'm indebted to all of you. I really don't want to bring trouble to all of you. But it's too late. Su Yun said, the trouble is already here. You should stay here obediently. I can't let you go. You should know that. Chapter 2693. Let's not make things difficult anymore. It's just a small matter. There's no need to. Ruan Qingxuang said. It's not good to hurt the harmony. Zhuo Meiyan didn't say anything. She turned her head away, as if she didn't care. In fact, she didn't want to do anything. She was just angered by Jiang Zixue's questioning of Su Yun. She didn't care about anything else. Zhuo Meiyan didn't care that she was staying here, nor did she care that she didn't do anything every day. The only thing she couldn't accept was her attitude towards Su Yun. Su Yun had thrown his own safety to the back of his mind and was wholeheartedly helping the Jiang family solve their problems. What right did she have to treat him like this? This was what annoyed Zhuo Meiyan the most. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Jiang Zixue also realized her mistake. She knew that she shouldn't have treated him like this. All right, I didn't mean anything else. I wasn't in a good mood just now either. Zhuo Meiyan calmed down after hearing Jiang Zixue's apology. She was a person with such a personality. Her anger came quickly, but it also disappeared quickly. She was an emotional person. I'll apologize to everyone on her behalf. Thank you for your understanding. Jiang Hong said. Jiang Hong has nothing to repay you with. Ruan Qingxuang hurriedly called out to everyone. All right, stop making things difficult. Let's eat quickly. The food will get cold soon. Although Jiang Zixue didn't want to eat anymore, she still chose to sit down because of her pride. She was worried that her emotional reaction would make others uncomfortable. Zhuo Meiyan also began to realize that her words were a little harsh. Zixue, don't mind what I said just now. Zhuo Meiyan said. I'm just angry at your attitude when you spoke to Su Yun. I don't care about anything else. Jiang Zixue just nodded and didn't say anything else. In fact, she was very grateful to Zhuo Meiyan. At least Zhuo Meiyan's words woke her up. She clearly realized that she was no longer the young Miss Jiang of the past. During this period of time, Jiang Zixue really needed to reflect on her behavior. What did she live like every day? Others were constantly expending energy on their own matters, but he only knew how to sit back and enjoy the fruits of others' labor. After dinner, Jiang Zixue took the initiative to wash the dishes. This caused Zhuo Meiyan to be a bit surprised. You're a guest after all. I didn't mean to ask you to do anything. No, it's not because of what you said just now. Jiang Zixue said, Sister Meiyan, I know that all of you treat me as one of your own, but I've never treated myself as one of your own. I shouldn't treat myself as a guest. This is what I should do. Zhuo Meiyan was stunned. It's because I always treat myself as a guest that you treat me as a guest, Jiang Zixue said. No, you're one of us, RuanQingshuang said. Meiyan said you're a guest, but that's not what she meant. I know. That's not what she meant. She didn't treat me as a guest either. She said that because of the feeling I gave you, Jiang Zixue said. When Sister Meiyan got angry at me and expressed her dissatisfaction with me, I knew that she didn't treat me as a guest or an outsider. If she only treated me as a guest, she wouldn't have said those things to me. It's because she treats me as one of her own that she got angry. Zhuo Meiyan took a deep breath. She hadn't expected Jiang Zixue to be able to understand her actions. Zhuo Meiyan had originally thought that Jiang Zixue would put a wall between them, but now it seemed that she had been overthinking things. If you really think that way, then I didn't say those words in vain, Zhuo Meiyan said. As long as you're willing to treat yourself as one of our family, then we're a family. After the bickering, everyone became closer to each other. When night fell, Jie Yi prepared to take action. You have to be careful when you're alone. Su Yun reminded him again. Safety first. I still think that I should be the one doing this. I can't let you take this risk. Zhang Hong felt really bad. No one else should bear this risk. Jie Yi rarely smiled. Since I've chosen to follow Su Yun, I don't intend to do anything that isn't dangerous. But, no buts, Jie Yi said. Why aren't you as sensible as your sister? She knows that she shouldn't treat herself as an outsider. Zhang Hong bit his lip. Brother, you have to be careful. Don't worry. Jie Yi smiled. And I'm saying if I don't come back, then don't act rashly and go to the pointed beach again. Su Yun punched Jie Yi. How can there be so many ifs? Let's just forget about this one. You know that I don't like to joke. Jie Yi said calmly. Remember, don't act rashly. The other party is quite strong. If everything is a trap, you must not walk right into it. Su Yun smiled. I believe that you'll be able to escape unscathed. As for the pointed beach, I'll definitely go there again. If you want to stop me, then come back and stop me yourself. Jie Yi could see the seriousness in Su Yun's smile. Su Yun was not joking. He was the kind of person who would do what he said. All right, then I'll come back and stop you. Jie Yi promised Su Yun. Brother Jie, good luck. Lin Gu smiled. Jie Yi was stunned. Can you change the way you address me? That's a little. Brother Jie. Lin Gu was stunned. That doesn't sound good either. Your name is too unbearable. Who would be so uncultured as to give you such a name? This was the name given to Jie Yi by their father, Chui Li. Although all of Chui Li's scams had been exposed, they still kept this name. No matter how wrong Chui Li was and how he used them, he still gave them the grace of raising them. This was something that Jie Su would never forget. Then you can just call me Jie Yi. Jie Yi said, Pigeon, you're someone who understands the big picture. I'm saying if something happens to me, I'll leave Su Yun in your hands. Don't let him and Zhang Hong do anything stupid. Lin Gu was stunned. Why are we talking about this again? Let me tell you, I really don't understand the big picture. So, even if you're 1 in a billion, don't let anything happen to you. All right. Jie Yi patted Lin Gu on the shoulder and turned to leave. Regardless of whether there was any real danger, he had already said what he needed to say. As for what would happen next, Jie Yi had no idea. However, as he drove away, he had an indescribable feeling in his heart. This feeling was like a bad premonition. This made Jie Yi feel a little uncomfortable. However, since things had come to this, he had no choice but to resolve this matter. Right now, everyone was under pressure. Jie Yi knew this very well. If it wasn't for this huge pressure, Jiang Zixue wouldn't have been in such a negative mood today. Zhuo Meiyan wouldn't have gotten angry because of this matter. What he was even more clear about was that no one's pressure was as great as Su Yun's. Su Yun was currently the one who was under the most pressure, and the pressure from both sides was concentrated on him alone. This was really not something to joke about. As Jie wasn't Su Yun, he couldn't imagine how much pressure Su Yun was under. However, there was one thing he knew very well. If it were anyone else, they wouldn't be able to handle this kind of pressure. The only thing Jie could do was try his best to help Su Yun share this pressure. However, he couldn't pull all the pressure that belonged to Su Yun back to himself. This was impossible and impossible. Along the way, Jie thought about many things. The more he thought about it, the more worried he became. The strong sense of uneasiness even made him feel a little flustered. Halfway through, Jie stopped the car and thought about it for a long time before continuing on his way. He didn't know why he had such a strong sense of uneasiness. He hadn't felt this way in a long time. To be honest, this made him very uncomfortable. It affected him in all aspects, especially in terms of his emotions and concentration. It gave him too much pressure and disturbance. Even so, Jie still came to the Ocean Intercontinental Hotel without hesitation. He knew very well that this matter had to be completed by someone else. If he didn't come, it would be someone else. And there was no one around Su Yun who was more suitable to do this than him. Chapter 2694. The Intercontinental Ocean Hotel was the same as usual. Everything was neat and tidy. There was nothing out of place that would make anyone feel that something was amiss. It was in this state of normalcy that Jie Su felt vaguely uneasy. He parked his car and walked straight to the hotel lobby. Even in this off-season, the price of a presidential suite in the Intercontinental Ocean Hotel was at least a 5-figure sum. After getting the room, Jie Su quickly went upstairs and checked into the hotel as a guest. He would think of a plan at night. This was the best idea he could come up with. Lin Ge had mentioned the room where Tao Yinan and the others were staying, so Jie Su got a room on the same floor. After resting in the room for an hour, Jie Su tidied up his clothes, took the room card, and went to the hotel's bar. He had already thought through the script very clearly. He had to be very well prepared for what he had to do next so that the other party would not be suspicious. After Jie Su arrived at the bar, he ordered a bottle of whiskey and started drinking by himself. Although this was a high-end place, there were many things that were so vulgar. Looking at the foreigners hugging the tall Taiwanese girls one after another, Jie Hypocrite, who had never had a girlfriend in his life, really wanted to scold them. What was the imbalance between men and women now? How many men in Huaxia would be single for the rest of their lives? These girls were actually doing these things for money. It was too obvious. No one was a fool. This era was not like 10 years ago, when people would think that foreigners were rich and would stick to them. Everyone in Huaxia knew that foreigners who came to Huaxia were all poor in their own countries. They had nothing and came to Huaxia to scrounge for food, drink, and money. Therefore, there were fewer and fewer girls who would really stick to foreigners. However, these foreigners who did not lack girls really did have some money in their hands. Although Qingdao was not a big city, it was in a good location. There were all kinds of foreigners. In the Intercontinental Ocean Hotel, if you wanted to find a girl, you could just go straight to the room. Huaxia people liked this kind of straightforwardness. Foreigners, on the other hand, were a little more interesting. They drank a little wine and then went to the room to let go of their wild nature. Sometimes, when they got the girl drunk, they could do some more perverted things. It was said that the people in the city knew how to play, but in fact, the people in the city knew how to play could not be compared to the foreigners at all. When those foreigners knew how to play really played, there were a lot of tricks. Tens of thousands of yuan were not spent casually. They also paid attention to the price-performance ratio and had to play to their heart's content. Jie Su drank alone, but there were many girls who came up to him to chat him up. Jie Su knew very well what kind of business they were in. In order to make himself seem more like a guest of the hotel, Jie did not reject any of them. If they were willing to chat, he did not mind. He could still afford to treat them to a few drinks. Handsome, are you staying in a hotel by yourself? The long-legged girl asked with a smile. Jae-won nodded. That's right. Are you on a business trip to Qingdao? What kind of business do you do? The long-legged girl continued. Jae-soo thought for a moment and made up a story. Steel business. The long-legged girl was stunned. Steel? Is the steel business still doing well? Didn't I hear that this year's business is not very good? You know about this? Jae-soo was stunned. He was quite surprised. The long-legged girl shook her head. No. But in the past, the bosses of Qingdao Steel often came here to have fun. But recently, I haven't seen any of them. Jae-won chuckled. For a CEO of that level, money could be counted in the hundreds of millions with just a flick of his finger. Even if their business was difficult, they would not mind spending tens of thousands of yuan on these girls, right? There are indeed some problems with the steel business. Perhaps they are too busy to have fun, Jae-soo said. Brother, what about you? Do you have time to have fun? The long-legged girl maintained her charming smile. If you have time, you can invite me to your room. Jae-soo shook his head. I drank too much. I don't have the desire. Brother, no matter how much you drink, I will still make you feel the desire. The long-legged girl did not give up. Which floor are you staying on? When Jae-soo mentioned the floor, the long-legged girl's attitude became even more enthusiastic. It was the floor of the presidential suite. Brother, just give me a chance. I promise that I can serve you well. You won't want me to leave for the whole night. The long-legged girl said, I am good at many skills. For example, flooding the Golden Mountain, wild dance of the Silver Snake, desert storm, lone dragon. Stop. Jae-soo raised his hand and interrupted the long-legged girl. This is a place to drink. It's not very appropriate for you to be here to solicit business. The long-legged girl felt wronged. She was not here to solicit business. She had made an appointment. Who knew that the B***** who asked her out would stand her up? The coward did not dare to come. However, she was already here and had ordered wine. If there was no business tonight, wouldn't she lose money? Almost all the men in the bar had girls around them. Since she had met a single man, she had to seize the opportunity. Brother, my tolerance for taste is quite strong. I can accept anything. The long-legged girl said, I will definitely satisfy you. Jae-soo was speechless. She was trying so hard to promote herself. It was as if she was playing a game of badger. But I said, I'm not interested. Jae-soo said, I just want to have a drink. That's all. What's the point of drinking? I'll give you a better performance. The long-legged girl said, Brother, my price is not high. If you miss out, you'll regret it. Jae-soo smiled bitterly. Was he starting to bargain with himself? I'll accompany you for the night. How about $5,000? The long-legged girl said. This was her lowest price. With her face and figure, $5,000 was not expensive. Although her entire body was fake and covered in silicone, the surgery fee was not cheap. She had to pay a high price to earn it back. Jae-soo ignored her. The girl seemed to be anxious. All right then. Brother, I see that you and I are fated. I'll give you a 20% discount. $4,000. From now on, you'll be my VIP customer. Whenever you come to Qingdao, just look for me. I don't have money. Jae-soo rejected immediately. He still had things to do at night. He did not have the time to waste on this girl. Brother, stop joking. How can I afford to stay in the presidential suite if I don't have money? The room fee for one night is enough for me to sleep for a few days. The long-legged girl said in disbelief, Brother, if you're worried that I won't live well, let's go and give it a try. If you think I'm okay, I'll stay. If you don't, I'll leave. How about that? I won't take a single cent from you. Jae-soo stared at her. Have you gone crazy from thinking about money? Why do you have to be in this line of work when you can't earn money? The long-legged girl sneered in her heart. Another guy like Tang Sanzang. But as long as she had the chance, even if it was the real Tang Sanzang, she was confident that she could give him a hard time. Someone in my family is seriously ill. My younger brother and sister have to go to school. The pressure is all on me. I don't have a choice. The long-legged girl started to make up stories. Jesu raised his hand to stop her. If you have the talent to make up stories, go to 17K Novel website and write a book there. The title of the book is The Things on the Periphery. Maybe you'll become a god with one book. When that happens, you'll be a god and earn millions or even tens of millions a year. That'll be great. The long-legged girl rolled her eyes. This guy was really stubborn. If you feel aggrieved, I don't mind you having a drink with me, Jesu said. As for other things, forget it. Brother, the girls around me are all my sisters. If I leave alone, I won't be able to hold my head up high in this circle. The long-legged girl said, just be a good person to the end. If you don't want to, let me send you back to your room. Jesu was stunned. He thought to himself, you're already in this line of work. Do you still care about your reputation? But what was this girl thinking? When I get back to my room, I'll drag your brother out. Let's see if you still dare to say no then. The long-legged girl planned in her heart as she looked at Jesu with a smile. Jesu suddenly had an idea. Actually, it would be a good cover to have a girl like this go back with him. That way, he could pretend to be a complete drunkard. Chapter 2695. Then have a few drinks with me. If I'm happy, we'll talk about other things. Jesu had a better plan in mind. This girl was definitely a good shield. The long-legged girl smiled brightly. She was overjoyed. She even smiled smugly at the girls around her who were waiting to see her make a fool of herself. In their line of work, if they wanted to eat well, dress well, and live a romantic life as a high-end bourgeois, they had to be shameless. In this day and age, pretty girls who entered a hotel would be taken advantage of. Everyone knew that. Therefore, the girls who entered and left the hotel every day had already shed all pretenses. They did not care at all. After downing 3 glasses, the long-legged girl began to tease Jie with her hands, afraid that he would not buy her bill. She was not a free hostess. She was here to do business. It was getting late. Jesu reeked of alcohol. He squinted his eyes and supported his head with his hand. He seemed to be very drunk. Brother, don't get drunk for real. We have a deal. I'll send you back to your room. The long-legged girl said, when you're drunk later, even if you don't feel anything, you'll have to pay when you come out. Send me back. Jesu said drowsily, it's just money. I won't forget about it. The long-legged girl was elated when she heard that. She immediately propped Jesu up. Let's go, brother. We'll go now. I'll make you a full set. I guarantee that you'll be happy for the whole night. Jie Huan was helped out of the hotel's bar in a wobbly manner. Big brother, did you encounter something that's bothering you? You drank so much. The girl was puzzled. If he could not hold his liquor, why did he drink so much? If he had not bumped into her, this guy might not even be able to get back to his room. I'll give you a bath when we get back. I guarantee that you'll be sober. Jesu ignored her. He staggered to the elevator and ran straight to the floor where his suite was. The elevator door opened. The long-legged girl smiled and asked, Brother, what's your room number? Jesu grunted and dragged his legs toward Tao Inan's room. It's normal for a drunk person to walk into the wrong room, isn't it? Moreover, he had brought a girl with him to get a room. If something happened to the other party and they were really disturbed, they wouldn't suspect him. Open the door. Jie walked to the door and kicked it open. The long-legged girl was startled. Brother, there's someone else in your room? Let me tell you, if you want more people to play, you have to pay more. Just me. What extra money? Jesu raised his voice. Then give me your room card. Where's your room card? The long-legged girl started rummaging through his pockets. At this time, the door opened with a click. Shi Jiao looked at the man and woman at the door with vigilance. "What do you do?" His voice was stern. Jesu was stunned. His breath reeked of alcohol. "Who the F***ck are you? Why is it in my room?" After saying that, Jie was about to walk into the room. Shi Jiao pushed Jesu away, causing him to stumble and fall to the ground. The long-legged girl also fell to the ground, looking at the scene in confusion. "What do you do?" Shi Jiao asked. "If you dare disturb me again, I'll call the police." At this time, the door to the room beside them opened. The few people Tao Zhu brought with him all walked out. Even Tao Zhu opened the door and walked out. After all, they were being very cautious. Any abnormality would make them tremble in fear. Sorry. The long-legged girl apologized profusely. "He drank too much. He might have remembered the wrong room." "And who are you?" The long-legged girl was stunned. I'm his friend. Brothers, sorry for disturbing you." "I'm really sorry." As the girl spoke, she searched through Jesu's pockets for the room card. Soon, she found the room card. The number on the card was not the room they were in. "I found it. I found the room card." "I'm sorry. He got the wrong room. He drank too much." The long-legged girl apologized as she helped Jesu up. "He drank too much. Did you drink too much too? You can't even find your own room." Shi Jiao was a little angry. "Enough. Tell them to scram." Tao Zhu did not want to get involved in this. He waved his hand and returned to his room. The others and Shi Jiao also closed the door and returned to their rooms. The long-legged girl wanted to cry. This brother was too unreliable. He drank so much that he blacked out. He couldn't even find his room. God, if that was the case, could he still get hard? No matter what, as long as she sent him back to his room today, she had to ask him for money. Even if she did not have to do anything, she had to make him strip naked and say that he did it. Anyway, he could not deny it. He could not blame others for drinking too much. "Brother, I helped you a lot today. You really have to thank me properly." The long-legged girl helped Jewan to the door of her room as she muttered to herself, "Those people just now looked ferocious and not to be trifled with. If it weren't for me, you would have been beaten up." After opening the door with much difficulty, the girl closed the door and threw Jesu onto the bed. She was exhausted. Phew! What was this? She was a weak woman, and doing this kind of work was simply exhausting. A man weighing 150 pounds was carried back to his room by her just like that. The long-legged girl drank a bottle of mineral water to calm herself down. Then, she got onto the bed and prepared to strip Jesu. Jesu was shocked. He sat up immediately. "What are you doing?" The long-legged girl almost cried. What was wrong with this guy? He was so drunk just now. In less than 10 minutes, he was full of energy. "Brother, didn't you drink too much?" "You..." The girl was confused. Of course, Jesu was not drunk. Everything just now was just an act. He did not get up immediately after returning to his room because he was thinking about something. This wasn't something that could be settled so easily. Something must have gone wrong. He did not remember the room number that Lin Gu had told him wrongly. He was also sure that the person who came out of the room next door to give orders was Tao Zhu. In that case, there were 2 people in Tao Yinan's room. He was the only one in Tao Zhu's room. There were also 2 people coming out of the rooms on both sides. Tao Zhu and the 6 experts he brought were all here. Where was Tao Yinan? It was impossible that Tao Yinan was not staying with him. Moreover, Tao Yinan's voice did not come from any of the 4 rooms. Jesu also did not sense any other aura. Obviously, Tao Yinan was not here. Given their current situation, how could Tao Yinan leave their area? Tao Zhu was so careful. Even if Tao Yinan left, he would definitely arrange for people to follow her. However, none of the 6 experts were missing, and they were all by Tao Zhu's side. This was a big problem. Something unexpected must have happened. At least, Jie Su felt that Tao Yinan was probably in trouble. "Brother, you didn't drink too much at all?" The long-legged girl finally understood. She looked at Jie Su in confusion. "Then what did you mean just now?" Jie Su ignored her. He took out his wallet coldly and took out 2,000 yuan. He handed it to the girl and said, "This is enough. Take it and leave this place immediately." The girl was stunned. She did not take the money. "Brother, who do you think I am? I worked hard to earn money. I'm not a beggar. We didn't do anything. You're giving me money? Besides, this money is not enough for me to show up." It was too little. Jie Su said, "This is all I have. I advise you to take the money and leave quickly. This place is not safe." The long-legged girl harumphed and stood up. "I know. You must have other motives. You're not in the steel business. Your target is the guests in those rooms just now. Am I right? I'm telling you one last time. Leave this place immediately. This place is not safe for you." Jie Su said, "If you insist on staying here and causing trouble for yourself, I won't stop you." The long-legged girl's lips curled into a smile. "But I think that if I stay here, I'll get more benefits, right? What do you think, brother? If I tell the people in those rooms about you being a suspicious target, will they give me more money?" Chapter 2696. Jie Su immediately frowned. "If you provoke them, you'll die." The long-legged sister flicked her hair and chuckled disdainfully. "Brother, I really want to tell you that I was scared since I was a child. I have a lot of courage. Otherwise, how can I dare to sleep with you?" "You." Jie Su was having a headache dealing with this hopeless woman. However, he did not have that much cash on him. "I don't want you to be dragged into this. If you leave now, it's not too late." The long-legged girl shook her head. "If I get involved, I'll get 10 times or even 100 times more than what I'm getting now, right? What do you want to do to them?" "I can help you." "You're crazy." Jie Su glared at her. The long-legged girl smiled and nodded. "You're right. I'm crazy. I've gone crazy thinking about money. Now that there's an opportunity, of course I'll grab it. There's no such opportunity here. Get out of here." Jie Su was no longer in a good mood. "I'm not leaving," the long-legged girl said. "I want a piece of the pie. Otherwise, I won't leave this place." Jie Su only wanted to make use of her. He did not expect her to entangle herself with him. Although she would only bring danger to herself if she did not leave, Jie Su's actions would be restrained. Although she was just a walking corpse without any sense of value, she was still a human after all. She was a living person. If she did not leave now, she would definitely die if something unexpected happened. More importantly, this woman didn't know what danger was. Danger had yet to come knocking on her door, but she was already thinking of provoking danger and trouble. What should he do in this situation? Did she really want her to throw her life away? No matter how cheap a life was, it was still a human life. Jie Su could not just stand by and watch her get into trouble. "All right, since you're not willing to cooperate with me, I'll go look for them now." The long-legged girl stood up and walked towards the door. Jie Su immediately panicked. In the blink of an eye, the long-legged girl opened the door and shouted at the top of her lungs, "Just now those—" Before she could finish her sentence, Jie Su pulled her into the room and swiftly shut the door. However, she still made a sound. The long-legged girl looked at Jie Hypocrite triumphantly, as if to say, "Let's see what you can do to me. If you don't want to live anymore, I can send you on your way right now." Jie Su's face darkened. "But don't give me any trouble. How much do you want? Name your price and give me your card number. I'll get someone to transfer it to you right away." This was the only solution Jie Hypocrite could think of to solve the problem. As the saying goes, a man who is never content is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. This was the girl's mentality. The moment she heard Jie-su's words, she was even more certain that Jie-su would benefit greatly from this place. To be able to afford to stay in such a place for more than 10,000 yuan a night, the benefits one could obtain were naturally unpredictable. How do I know how much you should give me? The girl had a smug look on her face. How about this? I only want 30% of the money you get for doing this. Jie-su's expression immediately turned cold. He really had the urge to cripple this girl. How much money can I get? Jie-su said coldly, you won't get a single cent. You can only get those few lives. Do you want it? The long-legged girl pursed her lips in disdain. All right. 20%. Will that do? I'm being generous. I didn't ask for too much. Besides, if there's anything you need me to do, I can help you. Jie-su really could not take it anymore. He really did not know what was in this girl's head. I'm not joking with you, Jie-su said. The long-legged girl pouted. Don't try that with me. 20%. Not even a cent less. I can give you the full package. Just take it as helping you relax. I've also helped you with this matter. Before Jie-su could speak, someone knocked on the door. Jie-su immediately became alert. He knew all too well how dangerous his current situation was. The long-legged girl also became nervous. After all, she had shouted at the door earlier. Is there anything I can help you with? A voice at the door said. I think I heard someone needing help here. Is there anyone here? Could you please open the door? Jie-su gestured at the girl to keep quiet. The long-legged girl cooperated. She immediately shut her mouth, afraid that her money would fly away. There was another knock on the door. Could you please open the door? If there's no one here, I'll open the door and come in. I'm room service. Hearing that the person was about to open the door, Jie-su said, I don't need any help. I'm already resting. You may leave. I'm sorry, sir. I heard a lady's voice coming from this direction. Is she the one who needs help? I don't need it either. We were just fooling around. The long-legged girl reacted quickly. Jie-su heaved a sigh of relief. I think I'll check if you need help. The person at the door took out a common room card. Hearing the sound of the electronic door lock, Jie-su was on full alert. The door opened. It was not room service who appeared at the door. It was Tao Zhu, Shi Jiao, and the rest. They rushed into the room like a swarm of bees and quickly closed the door. Jie-su's mind buzzed. This was really troublesome. What are you trying to do? Jie-su asked cautiously. You were so drunk just now. How are you sober now? Friend, don't you think you've sobered up a little too quickly? Tao Zhu said coldly. Who are you people? Jie-su refuted. I don't know what you're talking about. This is my room. I hope you can leave now. Don't disturb our rest. The long-legged girl reacted quickly. She realized that she could no longer keep the matter under wraps. She quickly ran to Tao Zhu and the rest. I can tell you what he's trying to do. The girl hurriedly said. He has other intentions. Jie-su's mind buzzed again. It was as if he had been struck by lightning. This girl was crazy. She was an idiot. She had no idea how dangerous those people were. How could she run over to their side? Oh, tell me then. What is he trying to do to us? Tao Zhu's lips curled up as he looked at the girl provocatively. The long-legged girl did not know how to describe it. He said that he can gain benefits from you. Does that mean he has other intentions? Looks like you don't know anything. Tao Zhu signaled to the person beside him. The expert on Tao Zhu's left suddenly attacked the long-legged girl. Before the girl could react, her neck had already been broken with a snap. It happened in the blink of an eye. Everything ended in a flash. Are you all crazy? Jie-su said, why would you hurt an innocent person? Looking at the girl who died with her eyes open, Jie-su was heartbroken. No matter what, this had something to do with him. He was the one who had used this girl. That was why she was in such a disastrous state. After all, this girl must have had parents, relatives, and friends by her side. No matter what, Jie-su could not escape his responsibility. Even if this girl didn't do anything decent, even if her values and outlook on life were so twisted, she didn't deserve to end up like this. Crazy. She was really crazy. How did things turn out this way? Why? You're still in the mood to care about others? Tao Zhu said, if you say that she's innocent, then you definitely deserve to die. Tell me, who are you? Jie-su sneered. Who I am? That depends on whether you have the ability to get it out of me. Yo, looks like you're a tough nut to crack. Tao Zhu said, I know that you're not weak, but you should see clearly what you can do to me by yourself. Jie-su was on full alert, ready to fight at any moment. He did not know when the other party would attack, but once they did, he would react immediately. At a time like this, the only thing Jie-su could do was kill to his heart's content. Chapter 2697. Tao Zhu waved his hand, indicating for everyone to spread out and surround Jie-su in the room. Jie-su tried to find a flaw in Tao Zhu's defense. However, Tao Zhu always had half of his body blocked. It was almost impossible for him to attack Tao Zhu. We're already at this stage. What else do you have to say? Tao Zhu asked. I don't need to waste my breath asking you any more, do I? Jie-su ignored Tao Zhu. He stared coldly at Tao Zhu. I can't be bothered to talk nonsense with you. Then you won't have a good ending. Tao Zhu scoffed. Do you really want to force my men to attack? Think carefully, my friend. Don't insult that word. I have nothing to do with you. Jie-su sneered at Tao Zhu. If you want to attack, do it quickly. Don't waste my time. Tao Zhu scoffed. In a situation like this, the first to attack would not gain the upper hand. On the other hand, the second to attack would give him a chance of survival. This guy could still remain calm in a situation like this. He could even think clearly about the odds. That was really something. Those without rich combat experience would not be able to do that. Tao Zhu took a deep breath. You don't really think you have a chance to attack, do you? My men are not necessarily weaker than you. As he spoke, Tao Zhu glared fiercely. It was as if he wanted to swallow Jie-su alive. Before he could finish his sentence, his subordinate, who had received the signal, made his move. Left, right, and back. The three of them attacked at the same time, tearing apart Jie-su's defense. Just as Jie-su was about to react, the three of them charged forward. The other party did not give Jie-su any chance. Even in a situation like this where they were outnumbered, no one dared to be careless. In such a situation, Jie-su could not take advantage of any weakness. It was impossible for him to gain any advantage. The other party's cautiousness had exceeded Jie-su's expectations. They did not have the slightest intention of underestimating their opponent. The more powerful one was, the more one knew the price of underestimating their opponent. As the saying goes, don't chase a cornered enemy. A cornered beast is the scariest. No one present wanted to be buried with them. Therefore, the more cautious the others were, the more cautious he was. No one did anything stupid. That was why no one gave Jie-su a chance. Jie-su's life-risking attack did not achieve the result he wanted. Instead, he was struck in the chest by his opponent's heavy punch. Even with the protection of his vital energy, Jie-su was still sent flying several meters away. There was a faint taste of blood in his mouth. His opponent's punch had damaged his heart meridian. The people facing Jie-su were all experienced fighters. They knew very well what method to use to get the best result for themselves. The current outcome was the best and most beneficial for them. After his heart meridian was damaged, Jie-su had to recuperate as soon as possible if he wanted to stay alive. If he wanted to continue, they would not even need to kill him. They could just exhaust him to death. Damage to the heart meridian was no small matter. Once it was stimulated by an overly intense flow of vital energy, Jie-su would die from the rupture of his own heart meridian. Jie-su struggled to get up from the bed. He tried his best to stabilize his heart. He knew very well that he had lost the upper hand. Now tell me, who are you? Tao Zhu said, if you work for me from now on, I can get them to think of a way to save you. Otherwise. At this point, Tao Zhu didn't continue. He stared at Jie-su, as though asking him if this feeling was painful. Jie-su's lips curled into a cold smile. Do you think I'll tell you? I like loyal people. But you should think this through. If you don't tell me, you'll die. And I'll still find out everything, Tao Zhu said. Tao Zhu said, your sacrifice is meaningless, just like your resistance just now. It's meaningless. That might not be the case. Jie-su narrowed his eyes. Tao Zhu frowned again. He had never met such a stubborn person. If he continued to resist, he would die. How could he be so stubborn? Master Tao, let's not waste our breath on him. Let's just kill him. We'd rather kill 1,000 than let one live. Tao Zhu raised his hand to signal for his men to shut up. It's fine if you won't tell me who you are. Tell me why you're here, Tao Zhu said. His sixth sense told him that this person was definitely not Zhang Hong. There was a saying that went, when enemies meet, their eyes turn red. If it was Zhang Hong, he would not have reacted this way. As for whether he was related to Zhang Hong, Tao Zhu could not answer that. He did not have a clear answer. If I tell you why I'm here, do you dare to answer me? Jie-su sneered. Tao Zhu was stunned. Then, he laughed loudly. Do I dare to answer you? Why wouldn't I dare to answer you? Who do you think you are to me now? Jie-su said, fine. Tell me, where's Tao Yinan? You're here for Tao Yinan? Tao Zhu was stunned. Jie-su said, why? You don't dare to tell me? I really thought you had guts. So what if I tell you? You're just a dead man to me. If I want you dead, you won't live to see the next second, Tao Zhu said. Then tell me, Jie-su said. But there's no point in boasting. To tell you the truth, I'm not going to fall for your provocation. But today, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to let you die convinced, Tao Zhu said. Tao Yinan is already dead. It's too late for you to come looking for her now. Jie-su was stunned. Of course, he did not trust Tao Zhu. You don't think I'm joking with you, do you? Tao Zhu sneered and said disapprovingly, as long as it's someone who threatens me, I'll kill them. There's no exception. This was a threat. A clear and straightforward threat. Think about it. Even if my own sister threatened me, I would. Tao Zhu laughed out loud. Not to mention other people. Let me tell you, I don't care if you're related to Zhang Hong. If you dare to threaten me, I won't let you leave here alive. Jie-su had a whole new level of respect for this guy. He was inhumane. He was even more infuriating than he had imagined. Originally, I was quite annoyed that I attacked my own sister. I felt that I was inhumane, Tao Zhu said. But now that you've appeared, I realize that I did the right thing. Someone's appearance meant that Tao Yinan had other ideas. That was why Tao Zhu thought that he did the right thing. Friend, I'm sorry. You're on the wrong side. If you're on my side, I might let you live. This is your last chance. Tao Zhu tried to win him over. If you tell me if you know anything about the pointed beach, I might spare your life. Jie-su sneered. Unfortunately, I'm not used to being a lackey beside scum. I'm not a spineless coward like them. Just as everyone was staring at him, Jie-su suddenly dashed toward the hotel's huge floor-to-ceiling window. It was as high as a 20-story building. Even if an expert fell from this height, he would definitely. The moment Jie-su broke through the floor-to-ceiling window, Tao Zhu shouted, "Catch him!" The people who rushed forward did not care about anything else. There was only one thought in their minds. However, no one expected Jie-su to have his own reasons for doing so. Because he had told himself that no matter what, he had to make a profit. He could not make a losing deal. In that split second, Jie-su gripped the windowsill with his hand. The moment he was flung out, he flung the first person who tried to grab him out of the window. Even an expert would not be able to control his own body in such a situation where he was caught off guard. A scream was heard. A top grandmaster fell from the building just like that. His head was smashed open. The scene was truly one where one's brain was on the ground. It was a miserable sight. The injured Jie Su could no longer support his body. His fingers loosened and he fell from the sky. Tao Zhu was completely dumbfounded. Things had gone beyond his expectations. How did this happen? Damn it! They could not stay in this hotel any longer. They had to leave immediately. Once the police got involved, they would be in real trouble. Let's go now. Tao Zhu cursed in his heart and hurriedly left the room. His subordinates also went back to their rooms as fast as they could to take all their belongings. The first thing they did was to take a detour down the stairs. All of this happened too suddenly. If it were anyone else, they wouldn't have been able to come back to their senses immediately. Jie Su's actions shocked Tao Zhu greatly. He realized that there were people in this world who did not care about their own lives. Chapter 2698. Tao Zhu and the others left the hotel as fast as they could. By the time the police arrived, they had already escaped. Both of them were sent to the emergency room after falling from such a high floor. It was already an incredible miracle that they did not die on the spot after falling from such a high floor. However, the possibility of them surviving was very slim. One of them had her head cracked open, but she was still breathing. The other girl died in the presidential suite. There were no signs of life at all. Her neck was broken by an external force, which led to her death. It was a homicide. There was no way to determine if the two people who fell from the building committed suicide or for some other reason. They needed to investigate and deduce before coming to a conclusion. The impact of this incident was too great. The guests of the Ocean Continental Hotel were all high-ranking officials and dignitaries. There were also many high-ranking foreign guests. Chen Wei also rushed to the scene. This incident was too terrible. He had to find out the truth as soon as possible. Otherwise, he would be neglecting his duty as the bureau chief. Killing people in the presidential suite. These people were too arrogant. When Chen Wei and the investigation team went to retrieve the surveillance footage, they found that the hotel's surveillance room had been destroyed. All the surveillance footage had been lost. This meant that there was a fourth party other than the three people who had fallen. There must be a reason behind this. Chen Wei had a headache. It would be much more difficult to investigate this matter. Bureau Chief Chen, the guests in the 4 suites on the same floor as the room where the incident occurred have all disappeared. This news was definitely good news for Chen Wei. Quickly check the room registration. See who they are. Chen Wei said sternly. I've already arranged for someone to check. However, the little clue that they had was suddenly cut off. After checking the room registration, the police found out that these people were using fake identities. According to the waiter's impression, there were about 7 or 8 people in the group, and one of them was a woman. The woman had not shown up for a few days. As for the others, they could roughly tell what they looked like. However, this was meaningless. This was a gang. Chen Wei did not dare to judge what kind of gang they were. Bureau Chief Chen. There's a situation. The investigation team reported again. At the corner of the room where the incident occurred, there was a line of unclear handwriting carved out by fingernails on the wooden floor. Chen Wei quickly rushed over. Although the handwriting was unclear, he could still recognize it. The investigation team took a picture of the handwriting and recorded it. What does it say? Chen Wei frowned. The investigator frowned. There were other messages in this line, which meant that there were other victims. It says, Tao Yinan is dead. Do not go to the beach anymore. They are prepared. You have to be careful. Tell Zhang Hong not to show up so easily. Chen Wei's eyes suddenly widened. Zhang Hong? Wasn't that the person who was with Su Yun and the others? And that Tao Yinan, he was also familiar with her name. Yes. He remembered now. These people must be related to those people from before. Buzz. Chen Wei suddenly felt his ears ringing. If that was the case, then the person who wrote those words must be someone close to Su Yun. Or perhaps, it could be Su Yun. So, among the people who fell from the building, thinking of this, Chen Wei was dumbfounded. The person who fell off the building. Now. Chen Wei felt his chest tighten, and he felt as if the world was spinning. My high blood pressure is acting up again. The person beside him saw Chen Wei's situation and quickly went forward to help him find a place to sit. I'm asking you about the person who fell off the building. Chen Wei pushed away the person who was helping him. I'm fine. You don't have to worry about me. The two who fell off the building are in the ICU. They are in critical condition. There is almost no chance of survival. Chen Wei's mind was blank. He took out his phone and dialed Su Yun's number with trembling hands. He really couldn't remember how many years it had been since he felt this anxious. Chief Chen, what can I do for you? When Su Yun's laughter came from the phone, Chen Wei's heart finally calmed down. Confirming that Su Yun wasn't in trouble was the most important thing for Chen Wei. However, this didn't mean that the matter was over. Even if it wasn't Su Yun, it must be someone close to Su Yun. Today, did your people go to the Intercontinental Hotel? Chen Wei's voice was very low. Su Yun immediately sensed that something was wrong with him. Something must have happened. Chief Chen, what's wrong? Did something happen? Jie Wen went to the Intercontinental Hotel today. The previous incident isn't over yet. Su Yun quickly said. Chen Wei took a deep breath and said calmly, something happened here. A girl's neck was broken. 2 men fell off the building. Their lives are in danger. The phone in Su Yun's hand almost fell to the ground. There is a line of words in the room where the incident happened. Tao Yinan is dead. Don't go to the beach anymore. They are prepared. You must be careful. Don't let Zhang Hong show up easily. Chen Wei tried his best to calm down. If I'm not mistaken, this line of words was left by Jie Wen. Su Yun felt as if his heart was being squeezed tightly by someone. Hospital. Tell me the hospital. Su Yun tried his best to suppress his trembling. The city hospital. Chen Wei said, I'll arrange for someone to pick you up. I'm worried about your mood. I can do it myself. Su Yun hung up the phone and prepared to rush to the hospital. Lin Guo and the rest who didn't know what had happened were confused. Pigeon, come with me now. Su Yun said. Lin Guo was stunned. What's wrong, brother? What happened? Something happened. Su Yun was expressionless. His coldness made Lin Guo shiver. Zhang Hong stood up and prepared to go with them. Stay at home. Don't go out before I come back. Su Yun said. He didn't want to explain further. He walked out without looking back. At this moment, Lin Guo seemed to have reacted. Brother, did something happen to Jie Wen? Su Yun's expression was ugly. He just nodded lightly. Zhang Hong couldn't stay any longer when he heard that something had happened to Jie Wen. I want to go with you. My brother wants you to stay, so stay. Bai Xiaoye was familiar with Su Yun's temper. She also knew that Su Yun must have his reasons for making such arrangements. She stopped Zhang Hong. If something happened to Jie Wen, how can I sit still? Zhang Hong said, this is my problem. It's the Zhang family's problem. I should bear the danger. He doesn't have to bear it for us. If something happens to him and I have to stay here and do nothing about it, how can I face him? If you rashly make some meaningless sacrifice, then you'll be letting him down. Zhua Meiyan was calmer than anyone else. If he wants you to stay here, then you stay here. Su Yun and Lin Guo had already walked out. They didn't seem to want to take Zhang Hong with them. Zhang Hong still wanted to go forward. Chou Yun blocked the door. Didn't you hear what we said? Stay here. Don't cause trouble for yourself. The sound of a car engine could be heard. Su Yun and Lin Guo had already left. Zhang Hong didn't know where they were going. Now that everyone was stopping him, he could only punch the wall unwillingly. Su Yun drove as fast as he could to the city hospital. Chen Wei arrived at the hospital almost at the same time as Su Yun in the police car. They saw each other after getting out of the car. Without saying anything, they rushed to the ICU together. When they arrived at the ICU, the doctor announced that someone had died. The body was also pushed out with a white cloth. Su Yun didn't care. He went forward and removed the white cloth. His head was smashed, and his face was beyond recognition. While Chen Wei was still nervous, Su Yun let out a sigh of relief. He could tell that Jie Wen wasn't lying just by looking at his clothes. "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Su Yun's recklessness made the doctor who pushed the body unhappy. Su Yun didn't have time to care about him. He pushed the doctor aside and rushed to the ICU. The few police officers at the door wanted to stop him. However, they immediately saw Chen Wei behind Su Yun. Chen Wei waved his hand. The police officers didn't stop Su Yun. They said, "Chief Chen. How's that person?" Chen Wei's face didn't look good. After all, he just saw a person whose head was smashed. No one would be in a good mood. That person was already in such a state. How good could Jie Wen's situation be? Sigh. Chen Wei felt really uncomfortable. Chapter 2699. That person is slightly better, the police officer said. The police officer said, but he probably hasn't woken up yet. He fell onto the person just now, so... Chen Wei was very excited when he heard this. Does that mean the person inside can be saved? Chief Chen, the doctor can't guarantee anything. Although he didn't fall directly to the ground, many of his bones are broken and his heart is severely damaged. The police officer said, it's still unknown if he can be saved. This was not good news, but it was the best news Chen Wei had heard that night. As long as there was a chance of survival, it was fine. Su Yun rushed into the intensive care unit, ignoring everyone's attempts to stop him. He finally saw Jie Su lying on the emergency bed. After confirming Jie Su's identity, Su Yun felt both pain and relief. Fortunately, Jie Hypocrite was still breathing. It was painful that this had happened to Jie Hypocrite. He regretted letting Jie Hypocrite go to the Intercontinental Hotel tonight. If Jie Su had not gone to the Intercontinental Hotel tonight, this would not have happened. Jie Su would not have been on the verge of death. Who are you? This is a restricted area of the hospital. Outsiders are not allowed to enter. The doctor was furious when he saw Su Yun barging in. Su Yun did not care about these people's feelings. Doctor, you must save him. I'll thank you first. As long as he's alive, I can give you anything you want. His tone was a little too arrogant. Some people were already thinking, if I ask for $1 million, you definitely won't be able to afford it. We don't want anything. We just want you to leave right now. I can give you money. I can give you as much as you want. But I want this person alive. Su Yun said, you must do it. At this moment, Chen Wei, who was worried that Su Yun would lose control of his emotions, walked in. Seeing that everyone was angry at Su Yun, he quickly went forward and said, I'm sorry, everyone. I'm Chen Wei from the city police station. This is my friend. The person who fell and injured is one of our people. You must help him. Once he heard that it was Chief Chen from the city police station, the doctor's expression softened and he spoke more politely. Chen Wei gestured for Su Yun to leave. Not only would he not be of any help, but he would also affect the doctor. Su Yun agreed with Chen Wei's words, so he walked out. Lin Gu went up to him and comforted him. Brother, don't worry. I believe that Jie Ji will be fine. Heaven helps the good. Chen Wei said to the doctor, I hope you guys can help us. Please don't mind what happened just now. That is Su Yun from Sky Entertainment Group. Mr. Su, this injured man is his good brother. He got injured while helping the police. So, please take care of him. The doctors were dumbfounded when they heard that. No wonder he dared to say that he could give him anything he wanted. He had a bunch of celebrities with a net worth of hundreds of millions under him. He was rich and overbearing. If he had known that the other party had such an identity, he would have been more courteous. He really shouldn't have been so rude just now. Don't worry, Chief Chen. We'll do our best. Even if it's an ordinary citizen, we'll do our best, let alone an important hero. After thanking them, Chen Wei also left the ICU. Listen up. This person is very important. Don't be careless. Everyone, focus. The chief physician said, put in all your effort to solve today's problem. If he can't be saved, don't even think about getting promoted at the end of the year. With the chief physician's encouragement, everyone had to be at least 200% alert. It was already the end of the year. If their achievements for the year were to be wiped out because of this, it would be a huge loss. Chief Chen, what's going on? Su Yun was still able to remain calm. This was inseparable from Jie Ji's hope of survival. Chen Wei said, according to the witnesses, they first heard the sound of glass shattering. Then, they saw a person hanging from a building. Then, another person fell down. Then, a second person fell down. Su Yun frowned. If that was the case, Jie Ji had pulled someone down with him before he fell. The hotel's glass is tempered and explosion-proof. It's impossible to shatter it without a certain amount of impact. Chen Wei said, this must have been caused by a very strong impact. Su Yun nodded. Clearly, this was not something an ordinary person could shatter. The impact was at least the force of a car rushing out. Unless an expert deliberately collided with it, it would not shatter. Jie Ji must have deliberately smashed it. Su Yun said, otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to pull the other person down the building. Moreover, he could only use this method to quickly attract attention. Chen Wei was taken aback. He did not understand what Su Yun meant. Quickly attract attention? Only by quickly attracting attention will the other person quickly retreat in a panic. Then, they won't notice the words he left behind. Su Yun said, he would rather throw himself into such a dangerous situation to tell me about Tao Yinan's death and let me know the danger I'm in. Chen Wei did not know what to say. However, he trusted Su Yun's judgment. After all, Su Yun knew Jie Ji better. Did the other person leave behind any clues? Su Yun only had one thought in his mind, and that was to make them pay with their own blood. Chen Wei shook his head. There is no progress for now. Before they left, they had someone destroy the surveillance room. The places where there might be evidence were also deliberately destroyed. Su Yun took a deep breath. This was done by Tao Zhu and his subordinates. There was no doubt about it. Where would they hide at this time? Also, could the news of Tao Yinan's death be confirmed? If this could be confirmed, then Su Yun didn't need to think about whether or not his spy could help him. However, thinking about it, it was highly likely that this had happened. Tao Yinan had completely stopped moving. Su Yun could not get in touch with her at all. It was very likely that she had been killed. Tao Zhu, oh Tao Zhu, this guy was really ruthless. He could even kill his own sister. Did this person even have a heart? Su Yun had seen many cold-blooded people, including himself. He was cold-blooded enough in some matters. However, it was rare to see someone so cold-blooded in front of their own family. Any cold-blooded person had a soft spot. For a guy like Tao Zhu who could even kill his own sister, he probably did not have a soft spot. A pure cold-blooded animal. Director Chen, I still hope that you can suppress this matter. Don't let the police act rashly. Su Yun said, the other party is not that easy to deal with. Now that something has happened, they won't care about a few more lives in their hands. Chen Wei nodded. He understood what Su Yun meant. Who is the girl who died in the suite? Su Yun asked, have you found anything? I'll call and ask now. Chen Wei immediately took out his phone. After a phone call, Chen Wei learned about the latest situation. The girl's identity has been investigated. She is a fourth-year female student at Qingdao Academy. She often goes to these high-class hotels with rich people. Chen Wei said, "You should know what kind of business she does even if I don't tell you." Su Yun frowned. Obviously, she was a prostitute. Why was she involved in this matter? She even lost her life because of it. He would probably have to wait until Jie Su woke up to find out. "Su Yun, if you need any help with this matter, I will do my best." Chen Wei said, "All the police officers of Qingdao are on standby." Su Yun said, "Director Chen, it's safer for me to solve this matter. Brother, if there's anything that needs to be done, you should arrange for me to do it." Lin Guo said, "We can't let any more accidents happen at this time. I think we should go back and tell everyone about this matter." Su Yun was silent for a while. "I will tell them the truth. It's better to deal with the pain quickly. The sooner we get rid of this stone in their hearts, the sooner they can be relieved." Lin Guo said, "I'm just afraid that Jiang Hong will feel sorry for Jie Su and do something stupid." "I will take care of it." Su Yun said, "Pigeon, go back and investigate the scene. Don't miss any clues." "I understand." Lin Gu nodded. Su Yun definitely couldn't leave now. Before Jie Su woke up, he wouldn't leave because this matter was still in a dangerous range. As for what kind of danger it was, Lin Gu knew. Although he was worried, he had to go back and look for clues. Any small discovery could solve a big problem. Tao Zhu's group was too dangerous. They had to be prepared to face the threat of the other party at any time. Chapter 2700. It was necessary that Su Yun did not dare to leave the hospital. After all, Jie was not the only one who was sent to the hospital. One of Tao Su's subordinates was also there. Although the person was confirmed dead, Tao Su and the rest might not know that. They only knew that the person was taken away in an ambulance. If he were in their shoes, Su Yun would definitely go to the hospital to confirm. Even if he received news of the person's death, he would want to know what the situation was like. He could not be ignorant. Moreover, Jie, the person who had disrupted their plan, was also in the hospital. He was someone who they hated deeply. If he did not die from the fall, they would stab him in the back. Because of this, Su Yun could not leave the hospital easily. Jie was already in trouble. He could not let him get into any more trouble. "Chief Chen, there are a lot of things to do over there. Go do your thing." "I'm enough here," Su Yun said. "I'll keep an eye on things." Chen Wei nodded. "Then you must be careful. If you need anything, give me a call." "Don't worry, I will." Su Yun smiled faintly. "These few people are arranged to guard here. If you need them to do anything, just tell them." "Don't be shy," Chen Wei said. As he spoke, Chen Wei waved his hand and called the few people over. Su Yun nodded. With Chen Wei's arrangement, he felt more at ease. At least the police was still very strict with the hospital. "All of you, listen up. Whatever Su Yun says here is equivalent to what I say. No matter what it is, you must obey him unconditionally." Chen Wei said sternly. "Yes, Chief Chen." "Chief Chen." The few of them immediately agreed with a serious expression. Chen Wei nodded satisfactorily. "Don't ask why. Don't think about the consequences. As long as he asks you to do it immediately. If anyone's hesitation delays things, don't blame me for being hostile." The few of them nodded seriously. No one wanted to be responsible for such a big matter. "Don't worry, Chief Chen. We will definitely follow all of Director Su's orders," the few of them promised. Su Yun said politely, "Sorry to trouble you." Chen Wei left after giving his instructions. With so many people present to help Su Yun, he felt a little more at ease. However, Chen Wei was well aware of the seriousness of this matter. It was obviously beyond the scope of ordinary police officers. He had to immediately mobilize the SWAT team to cooperate with Su Yun. Although the SWAT team might not be able to help in this matter, at least they were more confident than the ordinary police. After causing such a huge commotion, Tao Zhu's side was definitely unable to feel at ease. Losing one of his men made Tao Zhu very angry. The spy he had left behind had already seen it. His men and the guy who had smashed the glass were all sent to the ambulance of the city hospital. The hotel had already conducted a complete lockdown, and all the investigation was focused on them. This filled their situation with a sense of urgency. Young Master Tao, we're in a very bad situation right now. If we really can't make it, let's leave Qingdao City first. Tao Zhu glared. Impossible. What kind of person do you think I am? You want me to leave just because of such a small matter? Humph. Not only will I not leave, but I will also let these freeloading police officers of Qingdao know how powerful I am. Young Master Tao, now is not the time to act on impulse. We should try to cause as little trouble as possible. I need to know the situation of the people in the hospital, Tao Zhu said. Tao Su said. He grabbed the person beside him and said, You go and find out for me. Whether our people are dead or alive, you have to confirm with your own eyes. If they are still alive, then find a way to bring them out for me. Young Master Tao, even if they're still alive, I'm afraid they can't leave the hospital. Tao Zhu glared. I don't care. If they're still alive, they have to stay by my side. Yes. His subordinates were at a loss as to what to do in the face of the crazed pottery sculpture. You go too. Tao Zhu patted Shi Jiao. You go and confirm the guy who fell down. If he's not dead, you know what you should do. Shi Jiao was stunned. I definitely won't allow that guy to live to see tomorrow's sun, Tao Zhu said. This is the result of provoking me. I want everyone to know that no matter who they provoke, they should never provoke me, Tao Zhu. Otherwise, they will really die a horrible death. Yes, Shi Jiao said. The two quickly rushed to the city hospital, while Tao Zhu and the others hid in a small private hotel. This kind of place was safe. At least the boss would not verify any documents in order to make money. Moreover, the other party was rich and had directly booked the entire third floor of the hotel. Even if they were doing illegal business, they would not be questioned. It was still the same saying. It was good to make money. Why would they go against the money? Moreover, the more illegal the other party was doing, the more dangerous it was. Why would they throw themselves into danger? Young Master Tao, we can't be too anxious about this matter. Rushing for quick success may not be the best way to solve the problem. Someone reminded him. We still need to. Do I need you to teach me how to do things? Tao Zhu interrupted his subordinate's good intentions. At this time, his mood was complicated and anxious. Tao Zhu had already lost his basic rationality. The danger of someone coming to find him really made it impossible for him to calm down. Since Tao Zhu was stubborn, no one was willing to say any more nonsense. Rather than wasting their breath, it was better to obediently follow orders. I can't go all the way to Huaxia and go back after losing a subordinate, Tao Zhu said. Before Zhang Hong is dealt with, no one is to mention anything about retreating. Understood. Everyone said. Tao Zhu was unwilling to admit defeat. He could not accept the current situation no matter what. Tao Yinan was already dead. If he could not solve Zhang Hong's problem, he would not be able to explain it when he returned home. Once that happened, he was afraid that he would really be faced with a situation of internal and external troubles. Opportunities were left for those who were prepared. Tao Zhu had to be prepared and seize the opportunity. He did not want to throw himself into danger when he came out this time. Damn the Zhang family. He did not expect that at the last moment, they could still bring him such a big threat. He was really speechless. I want to let the Zhang family know that it was me, Tao Zhu, who destroyed your last hope. Tao Zhu said fiercely. It seemed that this was the only way to vent the hatred in his heart. Shi Jiao and Tao Zhu quickly rushed to the city hospital. After roughly asking about the situation, they found out that one person was already dead and sent to the morgue. The other person had just come out of the intensive care unit and was sent to a separate ward. There were a few police officers in the ward watching. Shi Jiao asked his companion to go to the morgue to identify the body, while he went to the ward to see what was going on. There were only two possibilities. One was that his companion was already dead and thrown into the morgue, or was sent to the ward after being rescued. The other was that the person in the ward was the other person. Obviously, the second possibility was more likely. After all, the other person was the second to fall. If he controlled his body well, he could really find the right person to take the fall. After the two of them divided the work, Shi Jiao quickly went to the ward. Jie Wen's ward was in a quiet spot on the top floor. The wards in this area were prepared for high-level officials. It was impossible for ordinary people to stay here. Even if ordinary patients had extra beds to sleep in the corridor, they would not be qualified to stay in this ward for high-level officials even if they had extra money. However, Jie Wen's identity was different. Moreover, he was accompanied by Su Yun, one of the few big bosses in Qingdao, so Chief Chen had specially taken care of him. That was why Jie Wen had the opportunity to recuperate in this quiet place. However, Jie Wen was still unconscious. Fortunately, Jie Wen's life was no longer in danger. Just now, after Jie Wen was sent out, the chief physician assured him that he was out of danger. Now, he was just waiting to recuperate. Perhaps he would wake up in a few hours, or perhaps he would wake up the next morning. Su Yun was relieved. After Jie Wen was sent to the ward, he took his pulse again. As Jie Wen's heart meridian was damaged, he was very weak now. Therefore, he did not dare to circulate his qi to heal him. He was afraid that it would break through his heart meridian. After Jie Wen fell from the building, he had minimized the damage from the fall. However, he could not change the fact that his heart meridian was damaged. It could be said that Jie Wen's biggest problem now was the damage to his heart meridian, not the fall. It was not easy for one person to come this far against so many experts. It was only because Jie Wen was quick-witted that he did not fight to the death. That was why he was able to survive. Chapter 2701. In the dead of night, everything seemed so peaceful, but there was not the slightest hint of happiness on Su Yun's face. Until now, Jiang Zixue had not been able to find herself in her sorrow. Zhang Hong's desire for revenge was so strong and one of his two most trusted helpers was injured. Even if Jie Su could wake up now, he wouldn't be of any help. Being able to recuperate his body with Su Yun's help and not cripple his martial cultivation due to the damage to his heart meridian was already a blessing in disguise. Now, the only person by Su Yun's side who could really help him share the pressure and threats was probably Lin Gu himself. Su Yun did not wish for the pressure and threats to land on the girls. Otherwise, he would be too useless as a man. Apart from that, Su Yun was still worried about how to answer to Chong Mo and the others. Although Jie Su was willing to stay by his side and work for him, they should be aware of the dangers that existed in this situation. However, Su Yun could not shirk responsibility for what happened to Jie Su just because of that. After all, this happened while he was by his side. It was reasonable for Su Yun to take good care of him and not let him fall into this kind of life-threatening situation. What a headache. Su Yun looked at Jie Su who was lying on the hospital bed and fell silent. At this moment, Jie Su's heart meridian was still weak. He still had to wait for him to wake up. Su Yun had not told the rest of the family about the situation. Instead of worrying them, he might as well bear the responsibility himself. The three police officers outside the ward were also a little sleepy. They had just finished dealing with the incident that happened a while ago. Now, the city was cracking down on public security. After all, it was the end of the year and public security was the most important thing for the police. Therefore, they did not have enough energy. Sometimes, they could only sleep for an average of 3 to 4 hours a day in a week. Who said that being a police officer was not tough? Being a police officer who just ate and drank was not tough at all. However, being a police officer who was responsible to the people was really tough. Anyone who did it would know that. There would be scum in the police force everywhere. This was normal. As the saying goes, if a soldier is cowardly, the whole army will cower. But if this general was a serious and active person, the soldiers under his command would also be influenced. And Chen Wei was such a person. He could bring up the atmosphere of a place. Shirley was very clear about this feeling. Shirley had been on Guqin Island for so many years, so he was very clear about the security of Guqin Island. When he had just started his career, how chaotic was it? After all, it was developed from a fishing village. 100 years ago, this place was occupied by the Germans and taken away by the Japanese. The Japanese and the Germans had fought a war here. The people of Guqin Island had been bullied by the Western powers and humiliated by the Japanese. Therefore, the customs of this place were not to be trifled with. There were many unruly people, and their tempers were not small. It was said that the young men of the Guqin Island were not to be trifled with. If they were trifled with, they would roll their eyes at them. This was not a casual remark. They would really hit them. Therefore, the law and order of Guqin Island had always been average. It was quite chaotic, especially at the port, where there were more entertainment venues. Thinking about the entertainment venues now, how many of them didn't involve messy matters? Those who had the spare money and time to go to entertainment venues now, what were they after? Just go to a KTV and sing a song. How many places were clean enough to sing, drink, and chat? Any random place would be a mess. What private room princess? Everything had changed. In the beginning, it was just ordering songs and pouring wine. Later on, it was cuddling. What had it become now? It wouldn't be a problem for them to strip naked and give you a wild dance. Otherwise, how could they attract customers? Especially those crew members who stayed on the ship for 10 days to half a month. As soon as they came ashore, they wanted to play with these things. With these messy things, they would be involved in the underworld. Otherwise, no one would be able to cover it. Could the law and order of Guqin Island be good? After Chen Wei came here, Shirley took the initiative to wash his hands of these things. Only then did the law and order of Guqin Island gradually recover. Of course, there were still messy things, especially at the end of the year. Although Guqin Island wasn't a supermetropolis like Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, there were a lot of people moving around. It was also a city that people yearned for. Many people came here with the idea of taking root in Guqin Island. Once there were more people, it would be messy. There were also many petty thieves and swindlers. Naturally, there were also many cases of swindling, kidnapping, and robbery. Especially at the end of the year, it was a peak period for crime. It wasn't just Guqin Island. In any city in the country, the crime rate rose sharply at the end of the year. Why? Because these people who relied on robberies and swindling also wanted to have a good new year. Some people moved around to commit crimes. They even told their families that they were doing business outside. Wouldn't they have to bring some money back for the new year? Wouldn't they have to have some face during the new year? They had to go home in a dignified manner. Even swindlers and thieves wanted to return home in glory. Who didn't want to show off in front of their relatives and friends in their hometown? Therefore, the Guqin Island police were really busy and tired during this period of time. It could be seen from the mental state of the three people at the door. It was already early in the morning. A police officer brought a lot of instant coffee. The coffee was thick. After the three people drank it, they still felt that it wasn't enough to refresh themselves. It wasn't that the coffee wasn't strong enough. It was that their mental state had reached a limit. And it wasn't just them. It was the same for all the Guqin Island police officers. In the busy peak season, such a thing happened in a high-end place like the Intercontinental Ocean Hotel. If anyone said that they didn't feel a lot of psychological pressure, they would be bragging. Everyone was under a lot of psychological pressure. The greater the psychological pressure, the more damaged their mental state would be. They didn't have any energy. They really couldn't lift their spirits at all. "I'm going out to get some fresh air and have a smoke," one of them stood up and said. If he didn't go out and let the cool wind refresh him, he was really afraid that he would fall asleep. "I'll go with you." "I can't take it anymore," another person said. The remaining one waved his hand. "You guys go. Stay awake and hold on. After this matter is over, we can rest. Hee, brother, are you dreaming? Rest after this matter is over? There's still a while before the new year. We can't relax and relax. Okay, go. After you guys come back, I'll go out and cool down. The two police officers went downstairs one after the other. Although there were often people under the no smoking sign in the hospital, as police officers, they were still very conscious. Neither of them realized that when they left, a pair of eyes was staring at them in the dark. The two walked out of the ward building. The older police officer took out a box of liqueur and handed one to the young man next to him. I remember that you didn't smoke when you first came to the station. Yeah, I didn't smoke at that time. Now you've become a heavy smoker. Ha, just be more open-minded. In our line of work, there's a lot of pressure. The younger police officer smiled. I'm fine. In this line of work, I want to serve the people. It's okay if there's a lot of pressure. By the way, I heard that old Zhang and the others have been introducing you to girls recently. Do you have any blind dates that you like? The older man asked. I like all of them, but they don't like us at all. The young police officer smiled bitterly. Girls nowadays have high standards. Oh, our conditions are still bad, huh? No matter what, we're still civil servants. What can be more popular than our status now? The older man comforted him. We don't like them. The young police officer said embarrassedly, I don't have the capital. So what if I'm a civil servant? Is there anything more tiring than us? If I don't rely on myself every day, I can't take care of my family, and I'm in danger at any time. To put it bluntly, girls who can find a partner won't consider me. The older man was stunned. Wasn't it a little too tragic for them as police officers? Besides, I don't have a house. When will the housing prices in Qingdao drop a little? The young police officer sighed. When my monthly salary can afford half a square meter, I'll dare to apply for a loan from the bank. Brother, to tell you the truth, I've been a police officer for 3 years, and the savings in my card haven't exceeded 50,000 yuan. Chapter 2702. Just like that, the two of them smoked and chatted. In the darkness, a figure slowly approached the two of them. Savings is not something you young people should consider. The older policeman took a deep drag on his cigarette and said, I only had savings 4 or 5 years after I got married. I didn't even know what savings were. You guys were so lucky back then. You could get married without savings. The young man said enviously, It's different now. The older policeman laughed. Back then, TVs, refrigerators, washing machines, and motorcycles were popular. Without electricity and smoke, you wouldn't be able to find a wife. Now, these things have become accessories. The young man took a deep breath. Look at the configuration now. The house can't be in the suburbs. It can't be less than 120 square meters with 3 bedrooms. The decoration must be Mediterranean, neoclassical, and have all kinds of furniture and appliances. The smoke is coming from cars. Even the domestic ones won't work. I can understand. The older policeman said, The parents of your generation are all people who have suffered. No one wants their daughter to suffer after she gets married. The young policeman smiled, so when they heard that I'm a criminal police, they were all a bit confused. It seemed that they were afraid that I would be in danger and die. Not really. Although the security of our Qingdao is not very good, it's not bad. The older policeman said, There are not many people who dare to attack a criminal police officer. The young policeman nodded. Yes, they just had a hard time. In fact, their lives were not in great danger. Moreover, half a year ago, Director Chen had made great efforts to confiscate guns. The security of Qingdao was much better than before. After finishing his cigarette, the older policeman put out the cigarette but on the ground and threw it into the trash can behind him. An old smoker smokes faster. The young policeman looked at the remaining 1/3 of the cigarette in his hand and said, I'll go to the bathroom first. You can go up directly after you finish smoking. The older policeman turned and went to the bathroom on the first floor. The young man nodded and took a deep drag on the cigarette. He really wanted to take a shot of stimulant when he was sleepy. Suddenly, a figure appeared at his feet. He was startled instinctively and quickly turned around. Bang! The young policeman didn't even see who was behind him. His head was hit hard and he fainted on the ground. The cigarette butt in his hand fell to the ground, still smoking. Shi Jiao finally made his move. After observing for a while, he realized that if he couldn't get rid of the 3 policemen guarding the door, he wouldn't be able to get in and see the people in the ward. However, if he went up directly, it would easily alarm the others, and that would cause a huge commotion. At this time, they were already in a very dangerous and passive situation, so he still hoped to solve the problem quietly. The incident of someone dying at the Intercontinental Hotel had already caused an uproar in Qingdao overnight. He didn't dare to casually kill any more police officers. That would only make things worse. Therefore, Shi Jiao could only use this method to knock them out and create an opportunity for herself. The senior police officer walked out of the toilet and unconsciously glanced outside. He saw that his colleague had already left, and there was a burning cigarette butt on the ground. That's not a good habit for young people. The senior police officer walked over and stamped out the cigarette butt. He picked it up and threw it into the trash can. But when he turned around and was about to go back, the back of his head was hit hard, and he fell into the bushes next to the trash can. Shi Jiao's face darkened as he dragged him into the darkness of the greenery. Now, there was only one person left at the door. When Shi Jiao carefully came to the quiet senior official's ward floor, the police officer guarding the door couldn't sit still anymore. He kept getting up and looking out the window. Shi Jiao really should thank Hua Xia for this kind of special ward floor that only senior officials could stay on. It was very quiet here, and only their ward was occupied. Even if there were patients in the other wards, they were all taken home at this time to recuperate. After all, senior officials had their own cars and people to serve them. Although they stayed in the senior official's ward, they only stayed in it during the day when they needed treatment. At night, they still chose to go home to rest. These 2 fellows are really something. Are they planning to smoke a box before coming back? The police officer at the door of the ward muttered to himself. When the 2 of them went downstairs to smoke, he already wanted to go to the bathroom. He thought that it wouldn't be a problem to hold it in for a while. Who knew that the 2 of them would be gone for so long? Forget it, I won't wait anymore. Anyway, there's nothing to do in the middle of the night. The police officer at the door of the ward hurried to the bathroom, and Shi Jiao secretly followed behind him. A minute later, Shi Jiao walked out of the bathroom. He wore a cap, a mask, and gloves. He was fully armed. Even if the surveillance camera caught him, there was no way to recognize his face. Moreover, he had avoided the camera, so the camera only captured his back. Shi Jiao quickly came to the door of the ward. There was no sound at all in the ward, and the lights were not turned on. He carefully opened the door. The light inside was very dim, but he could still see the person lying on the bed with the help of the moonlight coming in through the window. The machine beside the bed showed the person's heart rate. It was very weak, and he seemed to be struggling. Shi Jiao slowly approached the bed. At this time, he had already seen the person's face clearly. That's right, it was the person who had caused trouble for them tonight. In that case, this person was not dead. The one who died was their companion. You're the one who should die, Shi Jiao said calmly. He looked at Jiesu, who was breathing weakly, and murderous intent burst forth. I'll send you on your way to accompany my brother. Then you should ask if I agree to it first. Su Yun's voice rang out from the sofa in the corner of the room. Shi Jiao trembled all over. He did not realize that there was someone else in the room. That was because the sofa was in a corner where no moonlight shone, and he did not sense any danger after entering the room. Who are you? Shi Jiao nervously took a step back. Su Yun stood up and stood between the other party and Jiesu. I should be the one asking you that. Shi Jiao did not dare to act rashly. He was too worried about the other party's strength. If the other party could conceal his aura to the point that he could not detect it, it meant that the other party's strength was definitely higher than his. There was no doubt about that. The one who should die is not him. It should be all of you. Su Yun's voice was getting colder. Just as Shi Jiao's murderous intent was slowly being extinguished, Su Yun's murderous intent suddenly burst forth like a violent storm. That immense pressure made Shi Jiao almost unable to breathe. No one could describe how terrifying and angry Su Yun was. That was because those who had seen Su Yun's anger did not continue to live in this world. The flames of anger engulfed Shi Jiao in an instant. Under Su Yun's frightening aura, Shi Jiao only managed to defend against 3 moves before he was punched in the chest by Su Yun. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, Shi Jiao's body leaned against the wall and slowly slid to the ground. What a powerful opponent! He was no longer sure of his strength. At least, among all the opponents and people Shi Jiao had met, there was no one with such strength. No, if he had to make a comparison, it would be the 5 gods of war they met after they wiped out the Zhang family in Canada. Although Shi Jiao did not fight with the 5 gods of war, he had felt their aura and pressure. It was no different from the opponent he was facing today. They were almost the same. Could it be that this young man had reached the level of the 5 gods of war? No, that was impossible. Rumor had it that the 5 gods of war were only weaker than the 3 kings. The young man in front of him was only 25 or 26 years old. How could he have such strength? This must be impossible. There must be something wrong with him. His intuition must be wrong. Who are you? Shi Jiao knew that he would not be able to escape today. However, he wanted to die with a clear understanding. No one wanted to die without knowing why. Su Yun's gaze was still cold. Jie was already in such a state. They still did not intend to let him go. How could he let them go? I'm the person who wants to kill all of you. Su Yun threw out this sentence. A sharp murderous intent flashed. Su Yun attacked again. Chapter 2703. Shi Jiao's death was quick. Su Yun, who was completely enraged, did not give him much chance to fight back. Although he also had the strength of a level 9 Grandmaster, there was still no suspense when he faced Su Yun, who was 1 level higher than him and was furious. Su Yun could make him accept his death wholeheartedly. This time, Su Yun did not plan to be soft on the Tao family. They dared to appear again, which showed their purpose, to kill them all. Since they were not benevolent, then they could not blame Su Yun for being unjust. Then let's have a good fight. Let's see if the Tao family could eliminate the root of the problem, or if Su Yun could kill them all. Defend everything. Shi Jiao died with his eyes wide open. He would never have thought that there would be such a master sitting in the hospital ward. Su Yun's face darkened. Since someone could come here, it meant that there must be people from the other side in another place. That's right. There must be people from the other side in the morgue. Since they wanted to kill all of them, they would not let go of the opportunity to take away the bodies of their people. Anyone would think so. Su Yun got up without hesitation and walked to the morgue. Not many people dared to go to such a place in the middle of the night. Although feudal superstitions had long been broken, such places were still taboo. Therefore, morgues were usually in the basement, and the entrance was in the most inconspicuous and remote corner. Therefore, one should not wander around the hospital. It was said that someone once wanted to find a quiet place to smoke, so he went to the morgue. In the end, he was scared half to death and almost became a fool. There must be countless taboos about the morgue. Many of them sounded incredible and could not be understood by ordinary people. Of course, Su Yun did not know much about these because he was a typical atheist. However, some things could not be explained with common sense, so he still respected some taboos. If there weren't so many taboos in the morgue, the hospital wouldn't have placed it in such a secluded place. They didn't allow anyone to enter because they didn't want ordinary people to disturb them. It was said that there were no lights in the morgue, and the people who went in were not allowed to use lighting devices such as flashlights because the light was too strong. It would make the dead feel disrespected when it shone on the body. Therefore, if one wanted to go to the morgue, they had to use candles and other soft lighting devices. Candles had another function. When a candle was extinguished in the morgue without any warning, it meant that the living had disturbed the dead and disturbed their rest. This was an extremely inauspicious omen. They had to leave the scene as soon as possible. They couldn't stay for even a minute. If it had been a flashlight or something like that, it wouldn't have been able to sense danger and extinguish it. In addition, he absolutely could not allow any spiritual creatures to enter the morgue, such as black cats and foxes. Once these creatures entered, they would immediately turn into zombies. Think about it. Sometimes, the number of corpses displayed in the morgue could reach a dozen or more. How terrifying would it be if all of them turned into zombies at the same time? The most important thing was that the first commandment of the morgue could not be violated. If you heard someone calling you from behind, no matter what the situation was, you absolutely could not turn back. This was a matter of life and death. Although these taboos and rules were feudal superstitions, it was better to be careful in a place like the morgue. It was better to believe in some things. Even the people who worked in the morgue had to abide by these so-called rules, let alone outsiders. The people who worked in the morgue were probably atheists. Otherwise, they wouldn't dare to guard so many corpses, especially at night. If they weren't atheists, they would be scared out of their wits in 2 days. The morgue had to check 3 times a night. At 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 3 o'clock in the evening, the corpses had to be counted. Originally, there was nothing to check on the dead. However, the profits from selling human organs were getting more and more explosive. Therefore, some criminals were really willing to do anything. There were really people who dared to come to the hospital morgue to harvest human organs. Therefore, this routine check every 3 hours was absolutely unavoidable. Also, there were many quacks nowadays. There were many quacks who relied on gifts and connections to become a director or deputy director. These people were also very likely to make misdiagnoses. If some people died from misdiagnosis, it would be a tragedy if they were cremated at the time. Therefore, they had to be observed in the morgue for a few days. Some people who were in a state of suspended animation would reopen their eyes as if they had just woken up from hibernation. This kind of thing was not new in the morgue. As for the other rules of the morgue, it was really a long list. You can't smoke, spit, or whistle. You can't sit on the aisle chairs. They are not prepared for the living. You can't enter when a woman is on her period. You can't use a mirror inside. Otherwise, you will see a lot of things you shouldn't see. You can't wear bright red or green clothes. You can't look around casually. You can't have any evil thoughts. When you hear strange sounds, you can't try to find the source of the sound. You can't leave any information about yourself inside. You have to keep your name and address a secret. If you see the figure of a black old man, the kind that makes a sound when he walks, you can't shout, chant, or run over to take a look. In short, there were too many rules in the morgue. Those who stole organs would violate these taboos. Therefore, those people often died a horrible death. Not a single one of them was not extremely miserable. When Su Yun arrived at the entrance of the morgue, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. At this time, it was not time for the gatekeeper to patrol. The people on the night shift knew that if they had the time to sleep, they would sleep a little longer. The gatekeeper of the morgue would seize the time to rest and sleep. After checking the room at 12 o'clock, he would start to rest. The time was set to 3 o'clock. During this time, the gatekeeper would sleep very soundly. After all, this was the time when people were the most sleepy. Su Yun gently pushed the door of the morgue open. Just beside the door was the morgue's duty room. The gatekeeper in the duty room was lying on the bed sleeping soundly. He did not notice that someone had come in at all. Su Yun silently closed the door of the morgue. He closed his eyes and tried his best to let his eyes adapt to the darkness. When he could vaguely see things, he carefully and quietly walked to the morgue. The person who came with Shi Jiao was indeed in the morgue. Because it was too dark, it was not easy for him to find the body. After all, the person had fallen and was unrecognizable. Therefore, he needed to check one by one. There were no lights in this damn place. He could only rely on the light of the phone in his hand to take pictures of the bodies one by one. When Su Yun appeared silently, this person did not notice at all. Even if he was an expert, he would be frightened in a place like this. When Su Yun saw that he was using his phone to take pictures of the bodies one by one, his heart thumped. Was he not going to disturb every body in the morgue? Did this guy not know any taboos and rules? Whether these rules and taboos were feudal superstitions or not, they were still disrespectful to the dead. Even if it was out of respect for the dead, Su Yun would not do anything excessive in a place like this. He quickly and quietly left. There was only one entrance to the morgue. Su Yun could guarantee that the person would come out the same way as he came in. What he needed to do now was to wait for the person to come out. As long as this guy came out, he would be able to block him at the door. When Su Yun came out, the gatekeeper in the duty room was still sleeping soundly. He must have set the alarm, so he could sleep soundly. After walking out of the morgue, the cold and gloomy pressure was swept away. Su Yun did not go anywhere. He just waited at the door. About 10 minutes later, a soft sound came from the morgue. Although the sound was very soft, Su Yun was still sharp enough to catch it. Maybe this guy had found the body and was preparing to take it out. Just as Su Yun was still guessing, a very strong yin qi seeped out from the door. Following that, a guy who looked like he had lost his soul rushed out. Looking at his expression and the fear in his eyes, he must have seen something he should not have seen. That kind of fear was not something a normal person should have, not to mention that the other party was an expert. Su Yun asked, "Are you afraid that we'll find something? But even if you can take the corpse away today, I know that this matter will be blamed on Tao Zhu." That person was stunned and immediately understood who the person in front of him was. "The person who came with you is already dead." "Su Yun, Tao Zhu is a little too confident. He only brought a few of you, and he dares to let you go alone." Hearing that something had happened to Shi Jiao, the man's face turned even more ugly. Su Yun's pressure began to spread silently, and the person in front of him could already feel the huge pressure brought by this pressure very clearly. The gatekeeper of the morgue heard the noise outside and was a little nervous. Who was talking in the middle of the night? He wanted to get up and take a look, but for some reason, an invisible pressure made him not dare to get out of bed. It even made it hard for him to breathe. This invisible pressure even forced the cold evil energy in the morgue back. The gatekeeper of the morgue had worked here for nearly 30 years, and he had encountered all kinds of strange things, but this was really evil. Once the cold evil energy in the morgue came out, it couldn't be suppressed for a few days. He had encountered it before, and he didn't dare to come to work for a few days. But this time, the cold yin qi that had just emerged was suppressed by an even stronger yang qi from the outside. Could it be a super Taoist priest from Mao Mountain? Oh my God, something big is going to happen today. He didn't know that the person at the door wasn't a Taoist priest, but Su Yun's aura. But no matter who it was, he wouldn't show his face. He didn't want to be involved in this kind of thing. No matter what happened, as the gatekeeper, he was only responsible for looking after the corpses. He wasn't responsible for these messy things. Subduing demons had nothing to do with them. If you dare to stop me, then I'll fulfill your wish and let you become one of them. The man confronting Su Yun stared at him coldly. Su Yun smiled. I should be the one fulfilling your wish today. Even if I don't deal with you today, do you think that you've disturbed so many friends, they will let you have a good time? The man shuddered. I don't believe in these messy things at all. Don't scare me with this kind of thing. Don't believe? Then who was it just now, running out like a mad dog? Su Yun, who are you pretending to now? The man was on guard, ready to receive Su Yun's attack at any time. But at this moment, he suddenly felt a sharp pain in his shoulders and knelt on the ground with a cry. Seeing this, Su Yun didn't give him a chance and attacked head-on. The man wanted to raise his arms to block, but he found that his shoulders were filled with lead. It was as if they weighed 1,000 pounds, making it impossible for him to raise them. Su-yun didn't waste any energy at all and defeated the man with one move. When the man's heart was shaken by Su-yun and he spat out blood, he struggled to lean his body against the wall, gritted his teeth and used the last of his strength to tear off the clothes on his shoulders. On this guy's shoulders, the bruised handprints were very, very clear. Could it be that this was the legendary ghost shoulder? Perhaps his rash behavior just now really offended the friend inside, so the friend inside completely controlled him just now. Although this couldn't be explained by science, how could he not believe it at this time? His heart was shattered, and he didn't know if he could survive. Su-yun bowed to the morgue. It was better for him not to stay in this kind of place for too long. Before the matter got out of hand, Su-yun quickly called Chen Wei. Chen Wei rushed to the hospital as fast as he could, and the people he brought quickly found the 3 unconscious police officers. Of the 2 people on the other side, one was dead and the other was injured. Both of them were also detained by the police. The fact that the matter didn't get out of hand in the hospital was already a blessing in disguise. It's not safe for Jie to stay in the hospital. I'll take him back today. Su-yun, moreover, his injuries can't be treated by the hospital. Bone and flesh injuries can be treated anywhere, but the damage to his heart is something the hospital can't treat. Leave him to me. Chen Wei nodded. At this point, this was the only way. It was safer to leave him to Su-yun. Looking at the situation now, they didn't even have a clue about the other party, and the other party actually came to the hospital to cause trouble. If Su-yun wasn't here, today's matter would be very troublesome. In that case, you can take Jie back, Chen Wei said. If you need anything, I can arrange for people to help you. It's better not. The fewer people know that I'm taking Jie back, the better. Su-yun, so far, the place we're at is still relatively safe. Chief Chen, don't worry. If I need your help, I'll inform you immediately. Chen Wei nodded. Okay, you arrange it. I'll cooperate with you. Tell the brothers to be careful. Even if there are any clues, don't act rashly. Su-yun, the other party isn't an ordinary criminal. They're surrounded by experts, and none of them are easy to deal with. Chen Wei trusted Su-yun a lot. Hadn't Su-yun already dealt with 2 of the opponents that were not to be trifled with? Including the guy who fell to his death from Jie's trap, there were already 3 people dead. This time, Tao Zhu came to Huaxia with 6 of his most trusted experts. Now, half of them were dead. Chen Wei really didn't know what kind of reaction he would have if he knew about this. He would probably want to die, right? Chapter 2705. It was already 3 o'clock at night. The guard at the morgue did not dare to patrol the morgue today. What happened just now was too big. So many police officers came to take away the guy who had a ghost on his shoulder. He had disturbed so many friends in the morgue. Who would be able to stand it if they went in now? Even if he lost his job, he would not stick his head in the morgue today. It was a matter of life and death. No one was stupid. The hospital was very cooperative with the incident that happened that night. As for the news about the morgue being disturbed by the guards, they immediately sealed it off. After all, this was a superstition. No one could take it seriously. However, no one could ignore this matter. After all, the bruise on the man's shoulder was real. It was definitely not a mark that could be made by a living person. Anyone who saw it would tremble in fear. The guard immediately received an order. No one was allowed to enter the morgue, including himself. Naturally, he gladly accepted this order. Without this order, he would not go in. As for the others, they could go in if they wanted. It was none of his business if they were scared out of their wits after coming out. The incident at the hospital only calmed down at 4 o'clock in the morning. Not many people knew about this incident. In the eyes of those who did not know, everything in the hospital was still normal. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. Especially the next morning, everything returned to normal. It was as if nothing had happened last night. The senior officials' ward, the morgue, and the morgue. The place where the incident happened was usually quiet. No one would come into contact with these places. Of course, no one knew. The police sent Su Yun and Jie home quietly. Although Su Yun tried to be as quiet as possible, his family was still alerted. When Jiang Hong saw that something had happened to Jie Su, his face fell. He was the only one who knew how bad his mood had become. Jie's heart pulse was very weak. He did not know if he could survive. The unconscious person did not have any other reactions. He could not even eat. He could only rely on injections of nutrient fluids to survive. What the hell is going on? Who injured Jie to this extent? Ruan Qingxuang did not even have the heart to take another look at him. Other than his weak breathing, she felt that the broken bones all over his body were even more shocking. For others, they were not worried about fractures and external injuries. Those were not life-threatening. What was life-threatening was the internal injuries caused by the damaged heart meridians. Falling from a high altitude, he seemed to have been discovered by the people from the pottery sculpture group at the hotel and was forced into a desperate situation. Su Yun said, "Pigeon is now looking for clues." Tao Zhu and the others left the hotel after the incident. In other words, you haven't seen Tao Zhu and Tao Yinan yet? Zhang Zixue asked. Jiang Hong glanced at Zhang Zixue. Look at the situation we're in now, and you still have the heart to care about those things. Even Jie Ji got into trouble because of this. Not only was Jiang Hong disappointed that Zhang Zixue was the center of attention, but even Bai Xiaoye was a little angry. Zhua Meiyan and Chou Yun naturally did not say anything. They were both silent. After such a huge incident, no one would be in the mood to care. I just... Zhang Zixue wanted to explain, but she did not know what to say. It seemed like the more she tried to explain, the worse the situation would become. Su Yun said, "Tao Zhu left very quickly. We did not see him, but I believe Pigeon will be able to find clues." "Can Pigeon do it alone? Those siblings are so cunning." Zhua Meiyan said, "We must make sure he doesn't act rashly." Su Yun nodded. Tao Zhu is probably not easy to deal with, but Tao Yinan should not be a threat anymore. What do you mean? Bai Xiaoye was stunned. Jiang Hong and Zhang Zixue also looked up at Su Yun. Su Yun said calmly, "If there are no special circumstances, I believe Tao Yinan is no longer in this world." Su Yun's words shocked everyone. Tao Yinan was dead. What exactly happened? Jiang Hong could not help but ask, "How did Tao Yinan die? When did she die?" "I don't know how or when she died." As Su Yun spoke, her gaze landed on Jie Su. "But I think Jie Su must know something. He was the one who left this information to me." Everyone looked at Jie Faker. They really admired Jie Faker. What Jie Faker had done was not something an ordinary person could do. Jie Su killed one of the people around Tao Zhu. He fell to his death. Su Yun said, "I killed 2 more in the hospital. One of them wanted to steal the corpse, and the other wanted to silence the witness. I saw them one by one." Zhang Zixue sucked in a cold breath. One had to know that Tao Zhu had the most powerful people around him. How could Su Yun say that he had killed 2 of them so casually? Wasn't it too easy? According to what we know, Tao Zhu only brought 6 people with him. Now, half of them are gone. Su Yun said, "In other words, other than Tao Zhu himself, he only has 3 people left who he can trust and protect him." The light seemed to have lit up in front of them. Tao Zhu did not seem to be a difficult problem to solve. Jiang Hong was a little excited and could not control himself. "Jiang Hong, I don't care what you're thinking now. You have to suppress it." Su Yun said, "Don't do anything rash before I'm 100% confident." Jiang Hong frowned. "Su Yun, look at Jie Su now. And Lin Gur is working alone outside. How can I stay here?" "You have to stay here even if you can't." Su Yun said, "This is not a discussion. This is an order." Jiang Hong was stunned. Su Yun said, "I'll say it one last time. I don't care what you're thinking. Don't do anything irrational. This concerns the final outcome. I don't want Jie Su's sacrifice to go to waste. Do you understand? Zhang Hong nodded. He knew that Su Yun had given a lot of thought to this. I understand. I'll listen to your orders, Zhang Hong said. Su Yun shifted his gaze to Zhang Zixue. And you, don't have any messy thoughts at a time like this. I'll solve the Tao family's problem for you. I know. Zhang Zixue nodded, not daring to say anything. I can understand what you're thinking now, Su Yun said, because I have the same thoughts as you. I think this is a great opportunity. Zhang Hong and Zhang Zixue did not say anything. It could be considered a tacit agreement. But the better the opportunity, the greater the danger. Su Yun said, You're insiders, so you can't see the problem clearly. I don't want you to make any wrong decisions. We understand, Zhang Hong said. Don't worry. I definitely won't do anything stupid. I promise to, Zhang Zixue said. Su Yun nodded. Remember what you said now? The two nodded again. Does Pigeon need our help now? Zhua Meiyan asked. Can he handle it alone? He's a small target and won't be easily discovered. Su Yun said, If he can't even do this, then he'll have called me brother for nothing. You're really confident in him, Bai Xiaoye said with a smile. Zhua Meiyan smiled. I think he's not just confident in Pigeon. He's also confident in Old Master Lu. He believes that Old Master Lu's last disciple won't do anything wrong. Su Yun did not feel too emotional. Okay, go back and rest. It's fine as long as someone keeps an eye on Jie Su. Just keep an eye on him? We're not going to do anything? Bai Xiaoye asked. Su Yun nodded. We'll make plans after he wakes up. If he doesn't, I won't dare to jump to conclusions. For an expert like Jie Su, he knew his own body's condition. He would be able to decide how to deal with it. As long as he woke up, everything would be easy to deal with. The only worry was that he might be drugged while he was unconscious. Bai Xiaoye nodded seriously. Okay, brother, I understand. Leave it to me. Rest well. Su Yun did not have the time to rest. I'll leave it to you. I'll go out first. What are you going to do? I have something I need to do. Su Yun left immediately after saying that, not bothering to explain further to them. Chapter 2706. That night was too hard for Tao Zhu. At 5 a.m, he couldn't sit still anymore. After they settled down in a small hotel at the edge of the city, Shi Jiao and the other two were ordered to go out. They didn't come back. In another hour, the sky would be bright. Could it be that the two of them planned to deal with such a small matter for the whole night? Young Master Tao, don't worry. Maybe the police at the hospital are too strict. I believe Shi Jiao and the other two won't let you down. The person who spoke was called Blackwater. No one knew his real name, not even Tao Zhu. Blackwater's reputation in the underground world could be said to be quite bad. The masters he had followed were also the type that was reviled by tens of thousands of people. First, he was the biggest international organ trafficking organization. Later, he worked for a human trafficking organization. He also worked for the biggest drug lord in Mexico for a period of time. Blackwater's identity had always been the bodyguard of the leader of this kind of organization. With his strength, he was completely qualified for this position. The strength of the profound world realm wasn't a joke. Tao Zhu even believed that Blackwater was more or less enough to fight any one of the 5 war gods. Although it was impossible to win, at least he could escape unscathed. One could imagine how terrifying Blackwater's strength was. Such a strong guy was coincidentally used by the Tao family. In the underground world, it was rumored that Blackwater was a jinx. Whoever dared to use him would be unlucky. But Tao Zhu didn't believe that. As long as it was a useful person, he would dare to use him. And he always felt that he didn't use the wrong person. 8 years. Blackwater had been by his side for 8 years. The Tao family didn't have any problems. Tao Zhu's position in the Tao family was also rising rapidly. Those cousins and their subordinates all took Blackwater's strength into consideration. In front of Tao Zhu, they were all as polite as they could be. No one dared to be rash. Tao Zhu wasn't worried about Blackwater's strength. But if Shi Jiao and the other two went out, Tao Zhu wasn't so relieved. Although they were all experts, he still felt as if his heart was suspended. It was so suspended that it made his whole body uncomfortable. Even if the police are heavily guarded, it shouldn't take so long, right? Tao Zhu said, besides, if there's no chance at all, they can just give up. There's no need to bring the corpse back. We just need to make sure that bastard is dead. Blackwater said, young Master Tao, you didn't give them the order to slow down. They wouldn't dare to make the decision on their own. Tao Zhu angrily slammed his fist on the table. Why can't they achieve anything? It's because they don't use their brains. If you were to do this, you would be able to do it in an hour at most. If you really didn't have a chance, you would have made a decision long ago. Why would you waste so much time there? Blackwater didn't say anything. He knew that Tao Zhu was angry. In fact, if it were anyone else, they would be as careful as possible. After all, they didn't want things to blow up. Based on the current situation, things were not going to end well. The entire Qingdao police force wanted to catch them. Although they were not afraid of the police, once this matter was blown out of proportion, the police would always be on their tail, which would make them fearful when doing things. It was mainly troublesome. This was something they didn't want to happen to them. They will take care of it. Blackwater could only tell pottery sculpture this much. Tao Zhu took a deep breath. Let's see how I deal with them when they come back. If they can take care of it, it doesn't matter if it takes a little longer. Blackwater was quite protective of them. After all, they had the same identity and worked for the Tao family. Their relationship was quite good. Tao Zhu looked at Blackwater. It's only because you spoke up for them. If it weren't for you, I would have whipped them. It's just a small matter. Young Master Tao, there's no need to make such a big fuss over it, Blackwater said. Just wait patiently for news from them. Tao Zhu frowned. Should we continue waiting? I think we should forget about it. It's still uncertain if they can succeed. If they can't, I would have wasted all my energy. Then, do you want me to go and find out what's going on? Blackwater said. No need. Tao Zhu said, if I still need you for such a small matter, it would be like using a cannon to kill a mosquito. Besides, I feel more at ease with you by my side. Blackwater did not say anything else. Then I'll stay with you, young Master Tao. Tao Zhu looked at Blackwater. Blackwater, you're the person I trust the most now. As long as you're here, I believe I'll be safe. Young Master Tao, it's not just me. Ah Mao and Kong Bao are here too, Blackwater said. On the other side of the room, Ah Mao and Kong Bao were sitting on the sofa. The lack of news from the other two made them more or less uneasy. No matter what, the six of them were a team. Now that half of the people were gone, anyone would feel uneasy. Young Master Tao, if there's no other way, I'll go and find out what's going on. Ah Mao was the one who was most familiar with Tao Zhu. He had been by Tao Zhu's side for 16 years. Tao Zhu looked at Ah Mao and did not speak for a long time. If there was danger, he did not want Ah Mao to be involved. I'll go, Kong Bao said as he stood up. I'm more suitable. However, before Tao Zhu could speak, Blackwater refused. None of you need to go. If there's really a need, I'll go. Blackwater was indeed worried that Tao Zhu would agree to Kong Bao's request. He knew that Tao Zhu would not let Ah Mao take the risk alone. If they're not in danger, they'll definitely come back. Blackwater continued, if they're in danger, you'll have to face the danger they're facing. If someone has to go, I'll have a better chance. Ah Mao was also a profound world realm expert, but there was still a gap between his strength and Blackwater's. Kong Bao's strength was almost the same as Shi Jiao's. If Shi Jiao could not handle it, Kong Bao would not be able to either. Instead of putting one more person in danger, it would be better to wait. All right, no one needs to go. Tao Zhu finally spoke. Listen up, all of you. What we're facing now isn't that simple. No one should act rashly. Blackwater, don't be impulsive. Blackwater nodded. This was the answer he wanted. No matter if the people outside were in trouble or not, what they needed to do was to preserve their current strength. Blackwater had faced many kinds of troubles and difficulties. He knew what they needed the most at this time. If they still had to disperse their strength, they would push themselves into an even more troublesome abyss little by little. When encountering some special situations, some things had to be given up. Blackwater knew this better than anyone else. This time, he followed Tao Zhu not only to protect Tao Zhu's safety, but also to help Tao Zhu solve the Jiang family's trouble. There was another important thing, which was to control the situation. Making sure that Tao Zhu made the right decision at the right time was also what Blackwater had to do. Blackwater, what should we do next? I believe you should know better than me. Tao Zhu said, do we really have to wait here for the situation outside to pass? Blackwater calmed down and thought for a while. To be honest, the trouble they were facing now was worse than he had imagined. Before he came to Huaxia, he didn't expect that things would turn out like this, so he really didn't know how to deal with the changes that he had to make. Master Tao, don't worry. Calm down. Blackwater said, everything will be decided after Shi Jiao and Kong Bao return. By then, we can have a detailed plan and deployment. Tao Zhu trusted Blackwater's words. He nodded. All right, then we'll do as you say. Kong Bao, go outside later and check if there's anything unusual. Blackwater said, we'll hold back for now. Yes. Brother Blackwater. Kong Bao nodded. Ah Mao said, then what should I do now? Stay here. Blackwater said, conserve energy and be ready to deal with any trouble. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.